the quarterback from Battery Creek. First play of the game will be a handoff to Swinton. He rumbles to the outside. Manages to pick up about 6 yards on the play. So they've got a couple of running backs in their stable here, Justin, but John Swinton, I would say kind of an underrated guy out of Bluffton High School.
I completely agree. He's a guy who didn't put up huge numbers in the run game just because their offensive line was not as strong this year, but he catches the ball well out of the backfield, and he's a really great kid.
Gain of 6 on the play. Here comes 2nd down and 4. Wynn's going to keep it himself. Tries to get to the outside, but the Georgia defense there to gobble him up for a loss on the play.
Fred Nunn from New Hempstead there. Got in there, got a nice little push and everything. And I was talking to Jeff Davis, head coach Lance Hilton, who's got the defensive line, and we were sitting there. He told me they were going to be a 4-2-5. But, you know, if they're going to come out in this option, Justin, double tight in and everything, packing it in tight, they're going to have to end up going to a 5-man front.
Yeah, and that's what May River likes to do. They like to run 2, even 3 tight ends at times. So, yeah, they may have to make some adjustments there.
All right, 3rd down and 5. Pernell Maxwell now in his running back, but Gwynn's going to drop back and throw. If he doesn't get tackled first, down he goes. And Team Georgia got to him first. In on the tackle, Dedrick Butler Jr. out of Richmond Hill, coached by last year's head coach for Team Georgia, Matt Lizotte. And it looks like Team Low Country is going to go 3 and out on their first offensive possession.
Yeah, we knew that was going to be a problem for them when they tried to throw it, that the pass rush for Georgia was going to be pretty tough.
It's not going to work today.
Even that really good offensive line was not up to the task that time.
Don't think it's going to work for them today. Back to receive for Team Georgia, back behind the own 40-yard line, is Jaqueen Harris out of Benedictine. No punt rushes in today's game, by the way. They'll let this one go back down toward the 20-yard line. Okay, so a quick 3 and out from Team South Carolina. Now let's see what this Team Georgia offense has to offer. And John Wood from Southeast Georgia in the Game magazine, this is a team that kind of was known for their defense when you look at the roster, but the offense has a lot of guys that I would say probably should have gotten bigger college offers than they received. This is a very talented offense.
Well, I think one of the standouts, obviously, and you go on his Max Preps page, and there's so many things, is Chris Coleman from Liberty County High School. 4,500 yards in his career, 44 touchdowns.
And on the first play of the offensive game for Team Georgia, they go back to the line of scrimmage and nothing doing. That was a handoff to Jalen Leary, the 5'9", 185 senior running back out of Calvary Day School. And what an amazing story he had. This was a team at Calvary that even before they had Mark Stroud had a stable of 3-4 running backs. And once Nolan Smith left for IMG Academy, Jalen Leary took over as the main running back, and they really, John, did not miss a beat with him.
No, they did not miss a beat at all. In fact, you go back a couple of seasons before Mark Stroud, when Mark Stroud was still at Swainsboro. I mean, that stable was amazing.
Gus Bachman checking in to play quarterback for the second play here for the Coastal Empire. Swings it out far side. A wide receiver pass. Winston Wright is behind the defense, and he's going to go. The future West Virginia Mountaineer takes it in for Georgia, and they're on the board in the first quarter.
Wow. You could see that from up here. It probably was not quite as obvious down on the field, but you could see that that was a backwards pass. You could see where they were going with it. And we talked about Winston Wright kind of bottled up against May River in the season opener, but he's got a little bit more talent around him on this squad. And when you got to focus on other guys, Winston Wright will make you pay.
That was DeAndre Ruffin, the wide receiver from New Hampstead, who let that one fly. Clearly has an arm on him. And look at Winston Wright going right at your Blitz cameras into your living room. That's tremendous. All right, in to kick it away here, Anthony Salazar from the kicker factory that is Richmond Hill High School. That one up and good. Well, John Wood, we knew that Team Georgia was going to pull out a couple of tricks, but I'm not sure we expected that on their opening drive.
That's why I like these all-star games, and I think that's why you dial that stuff up. I still think, I mean, looking at South Carolina coming off the field, I mean, there's some guys just kind of stuck over there. I think they got stuck in the turf. They're so surprised on that one. I mean, that was an amazing play. But, you know, that's another thing. You got to look at who's out there. I mean, DeAndre Ruffin's out there. You throw the ball. That is a quarterback that made that throw.
So Coastal Empire on top of Team Low Country, 7-0 here at the beginning of the first quarter. Okay, Justin, so a lot of people said that the main weakness, if there is one on Team Low Country, is not a lot of offensive firepower. Turns out they might need a couple fast points here if they want to keep pace.
Yeah, and we'll see what they can do in this second series. Got Pernell Maxwell in there now for Wade Hampton.
And the rumbling fullback from Wade Hampton, Maxwell, will chug ahead for a gain of about 4 yards on the play. And there are a lot of big-name schools in the Low Country, Justin. There's the Bluftons, the Hilton Heads, the Bufords of the world. Pernell Maxwell being at Wade Hampton, a AA school, kind of out of the way. Wasn't really all that heralded, but I would say he was the most effective, possibly most powerful running back in the Low Country this year.
He's incredible. He averaged over 11 yards a carry, and a lot of those were on breaking really long ones. So.
And they'll give it to Maxwell on second down as he tries to get to the outside. And he is stopped by Carrington Warner, the DB out of Liberty County.
And the son of Coach Warner, Kirk Warner's son.
Maxwell, 2,348 rushing yards this year with 32 touchdowns. Over the past 2 seasons, 4,481 rushing yards and 57 TDs.
It turns that now into 3rd down and 2. Got to think they'll give it to him again. And that's what we were actually wondering before the game, Justin, is there a chance that Georgia doesn't really know what they're getting with Pernell Maxwell suiting up in the backfield for Team Low Country?
Yeah, like you said, kind of tucked away. Wade Hampton out there, and didn't get quite as much publicity as maybe some of the other teams, even though they went all the way to the lower state final.
And we're going to take our first break of the day here on the WSAV Blitz Border Bowl. Coastal Empire on top, 7-0 in the first quarter. Down in 2 here in the first quarter for Team Low Country. Let's go down to our WSAV sideline reporter, Connor Delpre. Connor?
Introduction from Team Georgia with that Winston Wright touchdown. You know, I talked to Winston, Greg, on Thursday about how his recruitment, it's been a rocky roller coaster for him the past month with Dana Holgerson, his head coach at West Virginia, the team he had committed to. Leaving for Houston, he said he took a step back from recruitment and waited till they hired that next head coach. Turned out to be Neil Brown from Troy, which he actually has an offer from. So the recruitment really just transferred between schools, and he said that this game for him is one day where he can just kind of sit back, not worry about recruitment, not worry about his future, and just focus on playing with his brothers, who he's grown up playing all the way through middle school with. His teammate Delvecchio Powell also said that this is something they've been dreaming about, everyone playing together for one last time. So, I mean, what an introduction for Team Georgia. And Winston clearly came off the field, sigh of relief, and he's just back in his element, Jet Life is.
Connor, 3rd down and 1. And Jordan Gwen from Battery Creek is hit and taken down in the backfield. In on the sack that time for Team Georgia is Chris Hill out of Statesboro. The Blue Devil getting it done there, John.
Yeah, Chris Hill, I mean, just watching him, he does a great job of scraping. He has a really good idea of the gaps, and that's going to help him at the Citadel.
Neither one of the options was very good on that one for Jordan Gwynn. He decided to keep it, but either way, it was going to be trouble for Team Low Country.
I was going to say that's getting blown up either way. I don't
Yeah.
think that was making much of a difference. And talk about, speaking of teams that had big turnarounds, we talked about May River a second ago. What a turnaround the Statesboro Blue Devils have had the last 2 years under Jeff Kaiser now, John, because a couple of years ago they were really struggling. All of a sudden, they're relevant in that division again.
They certainly are. You know, I don't know really what you attribute it to. I mean, just a change in leadership. I mean, Steve Pennington was there for so long. You talk about the Chiefs and the Colts game. Justin Houston played at Statesboro. In fact, I coached against him a long time ago. But, you know, that it's always going to be a great program. I mean, it's Statesboro. I mean, they love the game there. But they are turning things around.
All right, so Team Coastal Empire on top, 7-0 after their first drive. They begin the second drive with a swing-out pass to Jordan Grant from Savannah Christian. Gets up to the 37-yard line and call that a gain of 5 yards on the play. For what it's worth, the 6'2", 195 quarterback, Eric Phoenix, back in to run this team after Gus Bachman was the one who originated the play that ended up as a wide receiver pass touchdown on that last drive from DeAndre Ruffin all the way out to Winston Wright. 2nd and 5, play action. They swing it out again to Devecchio Powell. Second catch made by a member of the Memorial Day School Blue Thunder today. He's going to be 1 or 2 yards short. And John, he is the lightning of the Thunder and Lightning combo they have at Memorial Day along with Winston Wright.
And he is, and that's a great check down right there. Just keep moving the football.
3rd down and 1. Coastal Empire on top 7-0.
You hate that one. You hate that one right there. That's just giving it to them.
Yeah, the Low Country, if they're going to be competitive today, they obviously can't make mistakes like that. They're going to have to get off the field on 3rd down.
Yeah, giving free yardage to Team Georgia is not something that's going to help you in the short or the long run today. All right, new 1st down and 10 for Georgia. 3 down linemen, 1 blitz coming. Swing it out. This is Chris Coleman from Liberty County. Picks up about 9 yards as he scampers across the 45. That looks like it'll be 2nd and very short. And John, Chris Coleman, it's amazing to me that this kid was not recruited more heavily. I know it's because he's small. He's 5'7", 150. But he finished his high school career at Liberty County as their all-time leading rusher.
I think he's close to the all-time leading rusher in Class 3A.
Up the middle he goes, and he does pick up the 1st down for Team Georgia. Not only was Chris Coleman the all-time leading rusher at Liberty County, he was also a first-team All-State player back-to-back years.
It's amazing. I mean, he finished with over 4,500 yards, 44 touchdowns. It's just, he gets that in a hole and he's gone.
New 1st down, Winston Wright in motion out of Memorial Day, and he'll swing it along the outside. The Jet gets a gain of 3 yards, and let's talk a little bit here, John, about what Connor was saying down on the sideline a second ago. Winston was all in on committing to West Virginia, but now that Daniel Holgerson is gone, the question is, will he remain committed to West Virginia under Neil Brown, or does he reopen everything up? Because Lord knows he still has a ton of options. A lot of schools would still like him before February signing day. Here comes Jalen Leary. Rather, it's a play action. Eric Phoenix ran it up the middle for a 1st down, the quarterback out of Windsor Forest. But the question about Winston Wright remains here, John. Will he remain at West Virginia, or will he take up some of his other offers like Boston College, UCF, Appalachian State, Western Kentucky, Troy? He's got a lot.
Well, but you know, Appalachian State's got to change. They got a coaching change too, even though they go in-house. I mean, it just depends what he wants to do.
He's in the slot, new 1st and 10. High pass, incomplete. He was intended that time for Tyler Bailey, their tallest receiver, 6'3", 195 out of Southeast Bullock.
You know, you brought up a good point, though, going to that before we get to that play. They said as soon as the Miami thing happened with Manny Diaz, they said that before Manny Diaz, they said every Miami recruit should have been allowed to decommit right then.
2nd and 10. Powell in motion, rolling, and he will hit Delvecchio Powell out of Memorial Day for his 2nd catch. Down inside the 20 for a 1st down. And Team Georgia's knocking on the door again, Justin.
Yeah, just no answers for Low Country on defense right now. They just don't have quite enough athletes out there to be able to cover all these guys, all the skill position players for Georgia.
Yeah, I would say this is not about scheme so far. It's that this is absolutely the fastest all-star team Georgia has put together in any all-star. I can't imagine there's ever been a faster team on this field.
That's pretty impressive.
New 1st and 10. Phoenix keeps it after the read option. Dives inside the 10-yard line. He'll be 1 or 2 yards short, bringing up the 2nd down and short. And Eric Phoenix, the quarterback here out of Windsor Forest, what an impressive senior year he had. He led them to their best season in years running a new spread offense. He was the one that allowed them to change their whole identity, and the offense ran through him. On 2nd down, near side for Winston Wright. The Jet looking for his 2nd touchdown, and he's going to get it.
He's an impressive player.
Georgia.
He's an impressive player. He had a nose for the end zone there. They had him bottled up, but he's able to just slide past the defender and find the goal line.
That's why West Virginia wants him right there. That kind of thing, that is seriously it. Because, I mean, that shows the athleticism, that shows his technique, and just how good he is.
Anthony Salazar from Richmond Hill to kick it in and make it 14-0. And last year on the first Blitz Border Bowl, the final score was 15-3 Georgia. All of a sudden, Coastal Empire has nearly hit that total midway through the first quarter because of Winston the Jet Wright. So, John, we've talked about why West Virginia wanted him. We don't know where he's going to end up now with Neil Brown taking over at West Virginia. What is it about his skill set that made him so attractive to so many colleges?
Well, number one, I think he's the prototypical size of the wide receiver.
6 foot 170.
The biggest thing is he's got a big body, and he's going to be able to fight for those 50-50 balls. And once you get him in a college program, put some weight on him and get him at that speed, he's going to be that kind of guy that can shield himself, catch the ball. He can make those nice grabs right there on the sideline.
All right, so Jordan Gwynn, the quarterback out of Battery Creek, in to lead them out again. They picked up a couple of first downs on their last drive. Gain of 5 or 6 on the play there. And that was a handoff to John Swinton out of Bluffton. So we have seen Pernell Maxwell, Justin. We have seen Swinton. We have not yet seen Zach Doe out of John Paul II.
Yeah, he hasn't run the ball yet. He was in on that third down play where Gwynn kept it himself and got hammered. But Doe's an interesting guy because he's got a lot of offers or a lot of interest rather, but no offers from a lot of the option teams around South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with his recruitment.
2nd down and 3 for South Carolina. Here comes a blitz. Up the middle goes Gwynn. Manages to evade a couple of those Georgia defenders and picks up the first down.
I really like Jordan Gwynn. He's a guy who doesn't get a lot of attention, really, especially with Battery Creek having a rough season this year. And, you know, he doesn't have the biggest arm. He's not the fastest kid. He's not going to get recruited by the big programs. But he is a gamer. He's the kind of guy you want leading your offense in high school. Just going to give you everything he's got, fight for every yard, and just a really positive kid.
He did a really good job right there of ducking the blitz, too.
New first down. Here comes the pressure. Ducks the blitz again. Throws down the sideline. That's a complete pass at the 30, and it's hauled in by Shaquem Chisholm from Colleton County.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to be able to do. You know, you suck them in with the run, think they're going to run it all day long, and just pop one over the top. That's what May River did all season long, and Gwynn probably enjoying getting into this May River offense that really suits him.
2 great things on that play. 1, Gwynn identified the outside linebacker blitz, stepped up in the pocket, and 2, found Chisholm even though he was under pressure.
Yeah, that's a beautiful play. That's the kind that'll catch somebody's eye.
First down, he'll keep it himself. Falls forward, picks up 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Well, I'll give credit to South Carolina, too, on that, because South Carolina is sitting there. They're coming out in that double tight, and they're just running the ball, running the ball, running the ball. They have lulled the secondary to sleep.
And that's exactly what head coach Rodney Summers, though, in the pregame interview, if you were here for that, with Connor Del Preet, said they were going to do. They're going to run up the middle with Maxwell. They're going to sweep to the outside with Swinton and Doe. And when Georgia's not expecting it, that's when they're going to pop them over the top, Justin.
Yep, that's exactly what they did. And I think Jordan Gwynn was probably a little bit nervous getting on this stage, but it seems like he's settled in a little bit. 2nd
down and 7, inside a minute to go here in the first quarter already. To sweep, the ball's on the ground. Team Georgia says they have it. I can't tell. Wait for the referees. Team Georgia's got it. And it's Fred Nunn out of New Hampstead who fell on it. Nice heads-up play.
Once again, those are the mistakes that the low country cannot afford if they're going to compete in this game today.
Yeah, I was going to say, Justin, that was the best drive they'd put together so far with a couple of first downs, couple of good plays, and they just gave it away.
Yeah, just not sure exactly what happened there, if they missed the handoff.
Well, it was Shaquem Chisholm just kind of let it go as he was falling forward and got hit, I think. Speaking of Chisholm, though, great to have him. Last year, there was not really any Colleton County representation on that roster, and they've got a couple Colleton County kids now. Although it appears they are taking it back. The referees say this is not a fumble. They'll say that play was blown dead. So all of a sudden, a second chance at life here for Team Low Country, Justin.
Yeah, not sure exactly what the call was there. It certainly looked like the ball was out.
Blown dead, I guess. 3rd down and 7 coming up, and they get a chance to amend a big mistake.
The only thing I can figure is maybe they ruled that the ball had been recovered and the player was down, and then it came loose again.
Only one safety back, though, for Team Georgia. That's Amon Tinsley from Jenkins High School. Play action. Over the top they go. Touchdown, South Carolina.
Trey Pouchet from Thomas Hayward, late addition to the roster. He was an outstanding player for the Rebels this year. Led them to a state championship, and that's a heck of a catch going up to get that one.
And a guy who's not just listed as a wide receiver on their roster, he's listed as a true athlete. They're going to have him all over the field, and for the second time on the same drive, Justin, they got a chance to pop over the top because, like we said, there was only one safety back there, John.
Hey, that was a great post play. Well, and the safety didn't move. The safety did not move. The cornerback comes in with him just like he's supposed to on the post. I mean, he's got him there. But the safety never worked over the top.
This is a heck of a throw by Jordan Gwynn, too. He put it on a rope.
That was a nice throw. Very nice throw. Good route. Good job, South Carolina.
Looks like a couple of late additions to the line here from Team Low Country. Little mix up on the line there. Anyway, Jonathan Orr from Hilton Head High School in to kick this one away. And let's see what the Hilton Head Seahawk can do. Make this a 1-touchdown game. It's up and good. Team South Carolina is back within a touchdown. Let's go back down to WSAV sports reporter Connor Del Preet with more. Connor.
You're one of the kids where this game is really important because you're looking for more offers, looking for more eyes. How do you think that drive right there helped your profile and your teammates' profile?
That profile, it sparked up. You know, I think all the jitters are out. You know, Georgia came out talking, and we came out, and we had to shut them up somehow. So that sparked up a lot.
So Winston Wright gets those 2 touchdowns. What's going through your mind, and what are you telling the team in the huddle, down 2 scores early on against, a stacked Georgia team?
Don't go to sleep. That's what I'm saying. Don't go to sleep and don't lose your energy. My line's getting more physical, as I said, and if they want to get out there and fight, I mean, my line doing the job.
A lot of people expected you guys to run the ball down their throats, but you're airing it out as well. What message do you want to send to Georgia right now, that other side, that you can, in fact, air it out? You've got what it takes to replicate what you just did.
My message to Georgia is, I find your weakest corner, we're going to pick on them all game.
Where do you get this confidence? I need this confidence. Where do you get this?
My confidence, I didn't have nothing growing up. So I taught myself how to play football all life. I didn't have anybody growing up. So you got to stay humble all your life because you never know when it can be your last day.
All right, man. Jordan Gwynn, Battery Creek College coaches. Keep an eye out for this guy. Greg, back to you.
All right, Connor, that is one confident kid. You got to love seeing that. But one thing you do not love seeing is Khalil Shokes here out of Groves. He is down. It looks like it's just a cramp, though. That's the good news. He doesn't appear to be overly injured, just has a bad cramp for a second there. But I think, Justin, you and I had the same reaction as a lot of folks at home with that Jordan Gwynn interview, which is that is a kid who is not going to go down without a fight. He is calling out Team Georgia's defense.
I told you, he is a gamer, and he scraps. And, he's still looking for offers. He wants to play college football somewhere, and he hasn't found the offers yet. But he's gonna do whatever he can to try to get them. And like you said, he came out here to win this game today. This is not just an exhibition for him.
I was going to say, John, if you're a college coach, do you like hearing that or not?
I love hearing that. I mean, that right there tells me you got a kid that's going to fight. I mean, he's going to go out there. He'll be in the practice squad. He'll do whatever it takes. He just wants a chance. And a young man like that is somebody that can make a difference.
So after an incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10 here for Team Georgia. Gus Bachman, the Islands quarterback, out after Eric Phoenix threw a touchdown on the last drive. Sweep to Jalen Leary, the Cavalry Day School Cavalier. He's got a gain of 9 yards on the play. And that'll take us down inside 10 seconds, and that should be the end of the first quarter here in the second annual Blitz Boulder Bowl on WSAV. It is a high-scoring affair. The offenses have come to play, and at the end of one, it's Team Coastal Empire 14, Team Low Country 7. Stay here. The Blitz Border Bowl, supporting Ronald McDonald House Charities, is brought to you by Cintas. Contact Cintas today for your uniform and facility service needs to get you ready for the workday. Team Georgia up 14-7 at the end of the first quarter here on the Blitz Border Bowl. Handoff on third down and short is not going to quite get there for Team Coastal Empire. Handoff up the middle to Dontre Wallace from New Hampstead as he pushes the ball over the 40-yard line. I don't think he got there. I think it's going to be fourth down and short, but we'll see the referees mark it. Watch if he gets over the 40.
That's a big fella running the ball.
He pushed himself over, so it is a first down for Team Georgia. And Dontre Wallace was the leading rusher at New Hampstead this year, 817 yards, 9 touchdowns. On first down, they sweep it outside to Jordan Grant from Savannah Christian. Ooh. Takes a big hit and goes down for a gain of 4 yards. And John, what an interesting story out of Jordan Grant. At Savannah Christian, he was actually a quarterback for 2 or 3 years. But when Baker Woodward took over as head coach this year, he revitalized the offense, made it an up-tempo spread, put Jordan as a wide receiver and as a running back, and he was outstanding.
Well, you know, when you got an athlete like him, you can do that. That's what it is all about.
Near side to Del Vecchio Powell. And the Blue Thunder wide receiver has the first down. Del Vecchio's got a couple of offers. It's his third catch of the day. So far, he's been offered by Wofford, Presbyterian, and Jacksonville University.
All right, Justin. I was fixing to give you props on the South Carolina defense there, but they didn't get the pull down there. But they're playing with a little bit more anticipation and urgency.
Yeah, they've got some guys over there. Just not quite enough of them to cover all of those guys. It's a numbers
New first
game.
down, swing it out. That one knocked on the ground. They're going to roll that incomplete. The pass was intended, at least, for Chris Coleman out of Liberty County. And Gus Bachman in his quarterback. You see his head coach there on the right. That was Rob Zoller, head coach of today's team. Gus Bachman, the quarterback, has an interesting story, guys. He was actually a guy who played defense, who played tight end and wide receiver at Islands for a couple of years before Rob Zoller made him the quarterback this year. Not really on a whim, but he hadn't played quarterback at the high school level. And actually, he ended up being very good for the Sharks as that play, a handoff to Jalen Leary out of Calvary, goes nowhere.
Yeah, Ronald Reed out of Bluffton with the tackle there. He's a guy I really wanted to see today, and another one who I think could benefit from today's opportunity because he's not getting a lot of offers, talking to folks like Presbyterian, but he's a great player.
You and I have always been impressed with Reed. He's always a guy who stands out on the Bluffton defense. One guy that you and I both thought should have college offers. He's a guy who I think should be playing at the next level.
I think for sure. I think he's a great rush end at the D2 level or something like that.
3rd and 11. Bachman on the deep drop. That one's intercepted. It's pulled down by Sheldrick Gibbs out of Wade Hampton. He's all the way down to the Georgia 30-yard line, and Team Coastal Empire has a chance to tie on this coming drive.
Gibbs has already made a few big plays today. He's been right there in the middle of the line. 6'5", 265. He needed every bit of 6'5" to go up and get that one. They just didn't see him sitting there right in the middle.
You want to talk about deflation right there? I mean, that is a great play, too. He did a great job. He's in where he needs to be. I mean, the turnaround of the South Carolina defense right now is just absolutely amazing. I mean, 360 almost.
Yeah, that's a huge play for them. They needed something good to happen on defense.
Well, it looks like we unfortunately have another cramp, possibly something worse. That is Taj Bailey, the offensive lineman out of New Hampstead. Hopefully he's okay. Walking a little bit gingerly, but it looks like that's probably just a cramp. Meanwhile, back on the field, Team South Carolina has a chance here to tie on this drive, but it looks like we have a timeout called by Team Georgia. We're going to take a quick break here on the Blitz Border Bowl. Team Georgia up 14-7 on WSAV, but Team South Carolina about to tie, possibly. The South Carolina Low Country has C.J. Brown from Whale Branch in as their new quarterback for 1st and 10, and they're knocking on a door, only 30 yards to go. On play action into double coverage, back-to-back interceptions. That's yanked down by Amon Tinsley out of Jenkins High School.
Man, what a great play right there. I mean, that turn it around, but, you know, he's done that, and he can do that. He's an athlete, both sides of the ball, but he was doing that for Jenkins all year.
Well, and here's the thing. That looked to me like the exact same play they ran for a touchdown a few minutes ago, just double posts. And this time, the safety, Tinsley, was ready for it, Justin.
Yeah, he sat on it and saw that one coming. That's tough for CJ too, coming in probably a few jitters for him as well. First play that he's in the game, he's got to throw it downfield and make a read. So, maybe got a little over-eager there to try to hit the big play.
All right, so Eric Phoenix out of Windsor Forest back into quarterback Team Georgia inside their own 10. He's got all day. He's got Winston Wright again, and he overshot his man running down the seam.
It's pretty clear that Low Country doesn't really have anybody who can cover Winston Wright.
There are not many people in the 912 area code, Justin, who have the speed to cover the jet.
Now, I don't know if he's throwing to Winston Wright or he was trying to throw to his out. It looks like he was trying to throw that one to the guy on the go route on the outside, because it started there and ended up on the seam. But, I mean, hey, it's Winston Wright. You just throw the ball up and you can go get it wherever. 2nd
down and 10. Sweep it off to Dontre Wallace. Member of the New Hampstead Phoenix. He dives up past the 17, and if he didn't get the first down, he's going to be inches short. They're going to call this 3rd down and less than 1.
That is a big human being coming at you with the head of steam.
Yeah, he's more their fullback, with Chris Coleman and Jalen Leary being the 2 speedier, quicker guys.
It was a loaded backfield.
3rd and 1. Outside linebacker blitz is coming. It's not going to matter as they swing it off to Wright. He's got another 1st down, and in case you're just joining us here on the Blitz Border Bowl, that's Winston Wright out of Memorial Day School. He already had 2 first-quarter touchdowns.
Great job on the check down there. I mean, just being aware of where to get the ball out to, get the 1st down. Everything's good.
Great read on the play as well by Eric Phoenix there, John, to make sure he didn't get sacked or hand off to a loss.
Eric Phoenix does a really good job behind center and seeing the game.
1st and 10. Chris Coleman along the outside, the all-time leading rusher at Liberty County, dives ahead for a 1st down, but a flag comes in from the far side.
Yeah, they had to hold Shelter Gibbs, I think, to avoid him making another big play.
I don't know if it's that. It almost kind of looked like it was a horse collar there, but.
And let's hear what they have to say.
Put a hole at your flag. Holding. Offense number 59. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, 1st down.
And Team South Carolina gets a little bit of help, Justin.
Yeah, looking at that replay, depending on which guy they called it on, it looked like it might have been a pretty good block.
Well, you know what I loved there? That was Tyler Bailey also providing a great block at wide receiver, and knowing that they so often run the option or an option-style offense out at Southeast Bullock, that is a great wide receiver, John, who is used to being a good blocker.
Hey, a receiver blocking downfield is just as good as the big boys up front.
1st and 15. Jalen Leary does not take the handoff. It was a great fake. Eric Phoenix kept it himself on the quarterback keeper for a gain of about 10 yards. Man, not only did he fake me out, he faked out the camera guy, too.
He had me. He had Ronald Reed, too, because Ronald Reed had Leary wrapped up in the backfield for a big loss, but he didn't have football.
What a great late pullback. That's terrific.
That might have been as good as Houdini in the Statue of Liberty.
2nd and 3. Near side for Grant out of Savannah Christian. That's going to be a 1st down. And he's up to the 33-yard line. And guys, we mentioned how Jordan Grant, this was his 1st year as a receiver and running back at Christian. Don't forget, he was also a guy who went for big yardage. He had over 1,000 all-purpose yards and 12 touchdowns this year alone.
Just a pure athlete.
I'm impressed with Eric Phoenix.
Right goes in motion. Phoenix rolls out. The lefty's going to throw across his body if he doesn't get sacked first. Downfield, that's off the hands of Eric Richardson. He nearly hit his teammate from Windsor Forest.
I tell you what, I don't really cover Wade Hampton too much. They're a little outside my coverage area, but I am impressed with Sheldrick Gibbs. He was chasing Eric Phoenix all over the place back there. And if he doesn't have some offers, somebody needs to be looking at him, because 6'5", 265 and moving like that is a guy who can help you.
And
he's a 3 technique. That's a dream.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, in case you're just joining us here on the Border Bowl, did have an interception and ran it back, man, what, 30, 40 yards?
Yeah, it looked like he was going to take it to the house.
2nd and 10 for Phoenix. Sweeps it to Wallace.
Ball on the ground.
Ball on the ground. Looks like Team Low Country's got that one at the 30-yard line. And it looks like Team South Carolina got that, and they did. That was recovered by Ronald Reed out of Bluffton.
You got to have the handoff, but you got to have eagle claw protection on the football in the correct arm. And, I mean, these kids know this. It's just it's January. But still yet, I mean, this is your chance to audition for the college coaches one last time.
All right, new 1st and 10 from the 31 here for Team South Carolina. Handoff to Purnell Maxwell out of Wade Hampton at about 4 yards. And for the 2nd drive in a row, C.J. Brown, the 5'9", 170 quarterback out of Whale Branch, is in there, Justin. How is he different than Jordan Gwynn? What can people expect to see a little bit differently than Jordan?
He's really very similar. I mean, they both would prefer to run the ball versus throw it, but they can hurt you downfield when they get the opportunity. So, you know, a dual threat type guy. Pretty similar numbers. Jordan threw for a little bit more, ran for a little bit more, but that's just because CJ had Irvin Mulligan behind him, so didn't have as many opportunities, but similar guys.
7 yards to go. Maxwell, the fullback, rumbles forward for a 1st down, and he's toward the 15-yard line.
That's something CJ for sure knows how to do, is hand it off to a star running back. And Purnell Maxwell, now that they've hit a couple big plays in the passing game, that may loosen up a little bit of room for Purnell Maxwell to get things going.
It's a 3-pronged attack today for South Carolina. Hand it off to Maxwell, make Georgia stack the box. If they do that, sweep it outside to Doe or Swinton or other fast guys. And then when Georgia brings 9 guys to go over the top. Pretty simple 3-pronged strategy for the Low Country.
Yeah, and it's starting to work a little bit now.
First down and 10. Sweep outside to John Swinton out of Bluffton. That one's not going to go anywhere. Lost to 3 yards on the play, and we go down to Connor Del Prix. Connor?
With Sheldrick Gibbs from Wade Hampton. Dude, you just came up with that interception where you jumped up in the air, show off the athleticism a little bit. The defense is starting to roll. It seems like you guys are more confident as this game is going on.
Yes, sir. What we try to do, we try to, like, rotate people in and in so we can have fresh people. And come out of the fresh people is positive things on the defensive side of the ball. And that's what we're trying to do here, you know, playing with our swagger for South Carolina.
Right, and you guys came in with a chip on your shoulder knowing that people are talking about Georgia's roster. Do you guys think that now that you've hung with them, it's only good things from here on out where you guys are going to grab this lead after you score right here maybe?
Yes, sir.
You have also you're from Wade Hampton, right? Your guy Purnell Maxwell, they're feeding him. They're letting the big dog eat out there. You think he's going to start getting going and show what makes him one of the most talented running backs we've seen in quite some time?
Yes, sir.
What can you say about the way he runs?
One of the top running backs in South Carolina. You know, even our coach, Coach Jerry Brown said so himself. One of the best running backs that he ever had. And you know, he got a bright future, and me and him got a bright future. And so did everybody on this team do. Positive things will come out of all of us.
All right, man. Well, good luck the rest of the game. Hopefully we'll see you jump up and grab one more interception today. That sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Greg, back to you.
All right, thank you, Connor. And Sheldrick Gibbs out of Wade Hampton, certainly one of the best running backs in the South Carolina Low Country area. And I so clearly just remember, you weren't doing this game with me. We had Andrew Davis from WSAV broadcasting with me that night. He's your backup for Low Country games on WSAV, but it was tremendous. It was them against May River. We broadcast that game, and May River won, but I swear if he hadn't gotten injured early on, they would have won that game, and I think they might have beaten May River.
Yeah, they might have. I mean, that was huge. Purnell going out early in that game. I actually watched the broadcast that night. After I got home from covering a different game, I went back and watched it, and yeah, that was a huge loss for them. They got him back in the playoffs, and of course they ended up going to the lower state final. So Purnell Maxwell a big deal, and Sheldrick Gibbs a big deal so far today.
So after the personal foul, first down and goal from the 10 for Team South Carolina. Jordan Gwynn goes down, and the Statesboro Blue Devil, Chris Hill, knocked him down.
Chris Hill's right there. I mean, but this right now, this is where if you are Georgia, you have got to find a way. This is a pride point here. You shouldn't have ever let them get to this point. You got to let them get to that point. And now Georgia's going to have to find a way to keep them out. But Justin, I go back a couple of plays before when they had the nice pickup. I'll tell you the thing that I'm really impressed with right now is the offensive line from South Carolina. 72 is doing he's doing a pretty good job. The center right there.
Yeah, Gabe Long out of May River.
He is probably the best offensive lineman in the Low Country, and showing it so far today.
Whistles in on the play.
Long was a north-south guy.
And it looks like we will have a timeout taken here on the field on the Blitz Border Bowl. All right, so here's the thing, guys. Team Georgia, in case you're just joining us, got out to a tremendous 14-0 lead. It looked like they were going to actually start to run away with this game, but after a great touchdown pass from Jordan Gwynn over the top to Trey Pouchet, and all of a sudden, Team Low Country back in the red zone. They've got a chance for back-to-back unanswered touchdowns here, Justin.
Yeah, you know, they got the offense going after really just running in place those first couple series, and then the defense coming up with a couple of huge plays, a couple turnovers. So nice job by South Carolina to get settled in here and maybe start to get a little confidence that maybe they do belong on the same field with these guys.
Slow start does not mean that you're not going to start at all.
No, I mean, they shut down, Georgia shuts them down first series coming out, and then Winston Wright's first touchdown. You know, and then they make Georgia actually have to put together a series and drive the ball. And then, I mean, both teams are just, having a real problem with ball control and handling the football.
All right, so second down and goal from the now 13-yard line. And C.J. Brown from Whale Branch subs back in at quarterback. Bunch formation, no wideouts. Up to John Swinton. Scampers up to the 10-yard line. It'll be third down and goal from the 10. And I understand putting John Swinton in there, Justin, because you want a little bit of speed, but something tells me that if you're going to score on this drive, it's either going to be Purnell Maxwell going 10 yards or a pass.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Maxwell is their best back, and especially if you're going to load it up like that and no receivers and just load the line of scrimmage, I think Maxwell, the bowling ball, is the guy I'd want in there.
And you have to wonder if they go bunch again, at what point are they going to send out some of those really well-trained tight ends out of May River, coached by their head coach in this game, Rodney Summers.
Yeah, they don't put up huge numbers in the passing game, the tight ends. They're mostly blockers, but they can hurt you on occasion.
Third and goal from the 10, and whistles. And that was going to be a pass play. Brutal illegal procedure on South Carolina. That's going to push him even farther back.
Well,
yeah.
the back didn't know where it was. I was fixing to say, Justin, the back, he's trying to line to the left. Now he's moving to the right. We got too much. We got movement.
That is a little bit difficult when you've only had 5 or 6 practices.
I think they've had 4 for the Low Country. I don't know about the Savannah team, but yeah, 4 days is not a lot of time to put in an offense.
16 yards to go on third and goal. Fade pass for the end zone.
That's Trey Pouchet again. And that's a pretty ball.
Touchdown, South Carolina. Trey Pouchet out of Thomas Hayward makes it a 1-point game. And it's 13 unanswered points for South Carolina.
Man, both these quarterbacks for the Low Country, we talked about that they're kind of more known for running than throwing, but they have thrown some beautiful passes for a couple of touchdown passes here.
That was a nice fade. I mean, that was well thrown. The ball had nice flight. I mean, he literally just airlifted it to him. Back shoulder, beautiful.
And a chance for Jonathan Orr out of Hilton Head to tie this game up. It was 14-0 Coastal Empire right off the top. And now Team Low Country has responded with 2 further spread out touchdowns of their own as well. John, what is up with this Team Georgia defense? Is it something they're doing, or is it Team South Carolina's offense finally figuring out ways to get past that defense?
I think it's a little of both. Team South Carolina there, one thing that Team South Carolina knows that they can't do, they cannot run the ball up the middle like that in those tight formations and everything, because they're going to stack the line. But a lot of times the defense, they're missing and they're overrunning tackles and things like that. I mean, that was a real surprise.
All right, so Team Georgia comes back out with 2:45 left on the first half clock. Eric Phoenix dodges a couple of defenders, swings it out to Ruffin out of New Hampstead. He's into South Carolina territory, down to the 45-yard line. And it sounds like our sideline reporter, Connor Del Preet, has somebody he wants to talk to. And it sounds like it's probably going to be a guy who's already got a touchdown now, or maybe 2 touchdowns. Is it Trey Pouchet got there, Connor?
All right, I'm here with Trey Pouchet, who just play of the day, catching that touchdown pass, getting your feet in. Walk me through that play and what kind of went through your mind after you caught it.
I know I had to get it. Coach trust me on the fade. Just made the play like he wanted me to.
Do you feel like the offense is really starting to roll and take the top off of this talented Georgia defense?
Yeah, we doing what we got to do. Yeah.
How do you keep the team in it after, a slow start, down 14-0 after Winston Wright gets those 2 touchdowns? How do you keep the team focused and in it in a big rivalry game, the Border Bowl?
We can't give up. Everybody said we were going to lose, so we got to keep that mindset that we ain't going to lose.
Is that something you guys hear? Is a lot of people saying, you guys are the underdogs big time, there's no way you come out with this win?
Yep, because we're from Low Country. I don't think we're good.
How does that fuel you?
Not good. We're going to show them, though.
All right, man. Trey Pouchet, dude, just pure athlete. Ridiculous catch in the back of the end zone. Greg, I'm going to toss it back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, thanks, Connor. 1st and 10. Eric Phoenix looking downfield for Georgia. Oh, off the hands of Tyler Bailey out of Southeast Bullock. He had a man open, and that's going to bring up 2nd down, and that would have put him down inside the 15. Well, here's the thing, guys. It looked like in the first quarter we were all set to give Winston Wright out of Memorial Day the MVP trophy because of his first touchdowns on their first 3 drives. All of a sudden, Justin, Trey Pouchet is making a bid for that MVP trophy.
Absolutely. I mean, like Connor said, that's probably the play of the game so far, getting a foot down in the corner of the end zone on that fade route. And he's looking good out there. Again, Thomas Hayward, initially no players on the roster, just an oversight and, communication issue, but they're able to add Trey Pouchet at the last minute, and a nice pickup for the Low Country squad.
I was going to say awfully glad they did. So my question for you here, John, is the Georgia defense that came into this game as the most heralded unit. You have guys that are playing for Power 5 programs and an Under Armour All-American on this defense. What is it that South Carolina is actually exploiting? Because I'll be honest, entering this game, I wasn't sure how many points South Carolina was going to put up.
I'm shocked that they put up 14 points, but I think one of the things that they're exploiting is, they are getting a nice push up front. They look like they're running punt safe with how tight their splits are on the offensive line, but they are doing a great job of getting a push up front. And they literally, they've taken the secondary out of the game, because they're lulled. They've got the secondary convinced that all they're going to do is run the ball. So the cornerbacks, free safeties are automatically sucking up And then when you hit them on the run, you hit them on a pass play. I mean, that's what's changing. But I think Eric Phoenix right now, I mean, Eric Phoenix has been offensively the difference right now for being able to move the football for Georgia.
Yeah, he's impressive.
All right, Team Georgia after that long incomplete pass. Staring down 2nd and 10 from the 33. Goes back to Bailey for the second straight play, off his hands. And he is lucky that one was not intercepted. Could have been easily hauled in by Jatavian Smalls out of Ridgeland Hardyville.
Yeah, Smalls is a nice athlete as well. He's a good basketball player and was the quarterback for Ridgeland Hardyville and another dual threat guy. So initially when I saw him on the roster, I thought he may be in the mix to play some quarterback for the Low Country, but he'll get it done either side of the ball for you.
Well, there's Jason Cameron talking to his quarterback, Eric Phoenix. Jason, the second-year head coach out of Jenkins High School. That is a team that's going to have a lot of kids in this Senior Bowl in a year or two. 3rd and long, Phoenix for the end zone for Ruffin. Knocked away, nearly intercepted, and also nearly a touchdown. C.J. Brown, the two-way player, also one of the quarterbacks, knocked it away on defense.
That was lucky he got it because, I mean, I'm going to tell you, as an old secondary coach, he made one of the biggest mistakes you make is never knock it up. Always put it on the ground. They got lucky there on that one a little bit.
So 4th down and 10. This is often in high school football go for it territory. So Team Georgia is going to use a timeout. You see offensive coordinator right there, Jason Cameron, deciding exactly what he and head coach Rob Zoller want to do. I will say this, guys. Team Georgia started out with a lot of short swing passes, a lot of short slants, and handoffs to Wallace, Coleman, and Leary there. 3 talented running backs. I would say in the second quarter, really, they've been trying medium and deep passes, which has not been nearly as successful.
Yeah, I think they were having a lot of success spreading people out and, taking what the defense gives you.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to make the big plays. You know, you say this is normally go for it territory, but I don't know. You've got an all-star kicker. No rush on the field goal attempt. Let him try a 50-yarder, right?
Well, that's always a possibility, but I think going back to this series, if you see when Georgia took the ball, they started moving down the field and they started really establishing a tempo, and they had that tempo going pretty good until the first drop by Bailey, and that just, I mean, their tempo was gone.
Yeah, you're right. Those first 3 plays, they were firing quickly.
So 4th down and 10 here for Team Georgia. 2 safeties back for South Carolina. Pressure from the edge, over the middle, intercepted for the second time. And that one's yanked down by Kai-Shawn Hipp out of Whale Branch. That's the second interception of the day for the South Carolina defense.
Good job from the secondary. Justin, credit to y'all there. Y'all actually decided to play a little coverage. Great job. And, I mean, he didn't really have to move a whole lot, but he was there.
That pass was intended, as you will see, for Memorial Day's Delvecchio Powell. I could have sworn he was going to haul that one in, but he just dropped it and batted it right to the safety.
Yeah, Kai-Shawn Hipp, a guy from Whale Branch, he's really better suited as a safety. He slid up a level and played linebacker for them this year and was probably a little bit out of position, but that was what the team needed. But he's more comfortable in that defensive backfield.
Well, 1:05 to go until halftime. Here goes Purnell Maxwell to the outside. In the rumbling fullback from Wade Hampton has a first down and a gain of 10.
I think that was actually Swinton. I think his jersey pulled up a little bit on the back, and it looked like a
Did I read
3,
that wrong?
But yeah, I think it was Swinton.
Swinton out of Bluffton.
Well, that's Swinton's best run right there. I mean, he really, he looked good there.
I'd say so. New 1st and 10. They move fast. Gwynn steps up, and he's going to go down. Georgia defense in there to knock him down. Dedrick Butler out of Richmond Hill got to him first.
That was good. That was intelligent on his part, though, Justin. He made a good decision right there. He tucked, he held the football, and he went down.
Yeah, he probably saved himself 3 or 4 yards on that play by not continuing to drop back and then fighting for another yard or 2 at the end of the play.
One thing I'm noticing that South Carolina does a lot of, and it's just by formation, but they really run to the they really take advantage of the boundary a lot. They run to that short side of the field a lot.
Okay, so 25.2 seconds to go. If you're the Team Georgia defense, Justin, I think you have one directive here is get 3 guys on Trey Pouchet.
Absolutely. And don't let anything buy you. I mean, you cannot get beat over the top.
No, we can't have a Stephon Diggs situation here.
And I will say this as we get ready for the final couple plays here of the first half on the Blitz Border Bowl. I think if you're South Carolina, you are really pleased with how this went. I'm not sure any of us expected a tie game at halftime after that 14-0 start for Georgia.
Well, I mean, I think I was the only one who thought they might keep it close, but I certainly didn't think that they would do it the way they've done it in the passing game.
Explosive.
I thought it would have to be, the ground game and, running the ball, but they've been able to hit some big plays in the pass game. Credit to the coaching staff making those adjustments early on.
Well, I think credit to the coaching staff, but credit to your athletes over there. But they're putting kids in a position where they can succeed, too. And, I mean, I'm telling you, the running game is keeping Georgia at bay right now.
All right. 3rd down and 20. Got to get pretty much the length of the field. This is Gwynn running to the outside. Nearly picks up the first down. He crosses the 30. Clock is still ticking. And unless they call a timeout, which doesn't look like they're going to, that will bring us to an end of the first half of the second Blitz Border Bowl on WSAV. Georgia scored 2 early touchdowns, but South Carolina responded back with 2, including this beautiful one to Trey Pouchet. The halftime show minutes away on WSAV. Stay here because this is a good one. Back here on the Blitz Border Bowl halftime show on WSAV. I'm Greg Talbot, WSAV Sports Director. Thank you so much for joining us for this game. And we got a good one at halftime. Georgia 14, South Carolina 14. And one of the reasons we love this game is because it gives us the chance to not only highlight some of the lesser-known kids, but also to give the stage one last time to some of the biggest recruits and commits in our area. For more on the biggest stars in this game and their college decisions, let's go down to Connor Del Preet, who has more. Connor?
All right, so a very exciting first half, Greg. 14-14, the halftime score. And in the first quarter, we really saw Georgia flex its muscle in terms of the talent they have all over the field. I mean, Winston Wright, the West Virginia commit, is just one of several players who's had quite an interesting recruiting session as the eyes of the nation are really on these players. Now, I stopped by their practice on Thursday and talked to some of these big names on Georgia about where they're going, why they chose that school, and what makes them so excited to see what 2019 and 2020 and beyond really has for these kids at their respective schools. Take a look. The second annual Blitz Border Bowl features not only the best talent in our area, but some of the most sought-after recruits in the class of 2019. The top programs in the nation had their eyes on Rob Zoller's Islands program, specifically for linebacker Kalen DeLoach. He picked Florida State, and expectations were set high the moment he took his first visit.
The family atmosphere, and then the bond I built with the rest of the commits while I was down there. We had a lot of fun with each other. We all had the same mindset. Florida State didn't have the best season last year, but we had a mindset that we can come in and change it.
Even after his commitment, Michigan and Auburn came calling. Both Jim Harbaugh and Gus Malzahn paid a visit to Savannah. But Kalen didn't want to give up his relationship with fellow Knowles commits.
Well, we all felt like we had good chemistry with each other, and we come and make an impact. We all work hard. We all got the same mindset. So we want to come in and just do what we can do and just help the team.
Kalen's good friend and fellow Savannah stud Jakeem Harris signed the dotted line to play at NC State.
Brotherhood of the coaches. It just was great when I went up there, treated me like a family.
He's jumping at the chance to feast on those ACC offenses.
They played a big role in playing in the ACC, a lot of passing, so I'll get a chance to catch a bunch of interceptions.
And it's been an interesting month for West Virginia commit Winston Wright. Coach Dana Holgorsen left for Houston. Wright took a step back as the Mountaineers searched for a replacement. They landed Neil Brown. Troy's now former head coach actually gave Wright an offer when he was with the Trojans.
They were recruiting me hard, but so it just came over to this school, so I look forward to meeting him when I get up there.
The Blitz Border Bowl serves as a last audition for players hoping to get offers. But for DeLoach, Harris, and Wright, it's a curtain call before they look to make an impact at the next level.
This is a good skate route, getting back on the field, working, but it's going to be a show.
You want to talk about future college talent. We have some current college talent on the sidelines here on Team Georgia's side. Wesley Kennedy, who plays at Georgia Southern, of course, and his teammate Chris Harris Jr., whose brother Jaqueen you just heard from. He's going to NC State, but both these Georgia Southern Eagles players are on the sideline watching guys that they grew up playing with. So a lot of star potential, a lot of star talent on the sidelines, Greg. But a couple things I noticed from the first half. One, and I'm sure you've talked about it up there, Team Low Country came to play. We came into this thinking that Georgia was going to, have their way with this team because of just the pure talent level they have. And they've been able to pick apart that defense pretty well, made some mistakes with interceptions. But Team Low Country, they're getting amped up on the sideline. The first quarter was a little solemn because they were down quick so early, but the energy's picking up, as you could see from some of the interviews I was doing. These kids, all they needed to know was that they could be in this game, they could hang tight, and now they've got all the confidence in the world. I think we're in for a fantastic second half. But for now, Greg, I'm going to toss it back up to you in the booth.
Yeah, Connor, you are absolutely right, buddy. I think a lot of us came into this game thinking it was going to be Georgia running away with it, especially after those 2 early touchdowns by Winston Wright out of Memorial Day School. But it's 14-14 at halftime. And speaking of Low Country, we are talking to last year's head coach, the first ever coach Team Low Country, Bluffton head coach John Haupt, about his thoughts about this game and looking back to the very first one of these. That's in just a second on WSAV. The second Blitz Border Bowl live on WSAV here at halftime. Low Country and Team Coastal Empire tied up at 14 apiece. WSAV Sports Director Greg Talbot here with a familiar face in Blitz Border Bowl lore. Last year's first ever head coach for Team Low Country. It is Bluffton head coach John Haupt. Coach, last year, interesting game. No one really knew what to expect. Ended up being 15-3 win for Team Georgia. This is a different kind of game. This is a high-powered offensive game this year. Only 1 touchdown last year.
Yeah, I think the biggest factor is the weather right now. It's cold outside, but not like it was last year. I think it played a mental aspect.
Last year,
for a lot of guys.
It probably felt like, what, 35 or 40?
Sure, you can say that. It felt like 20 to us on the field. Honestly, I really think the guys are more comfortable. They kind of knew what was coming into play from last year. So they were just coming in to play football with everybody. And when they came out here, they got past the jitters early on, and both sides started lighting it up. And no big surprise when we were talking about the fact that you were the first Border Bowl coach, a little bit different. Let's take actually a look back at some of the highlights from last year's game. You were the one putting together the first ever roster, putting together the coaching staff. Did last year's game go how you expected it to? Well, I thought we could do a little bit better on offense and defense to showcase the talent we have. But I think Georgia had a great unit put on the field on offense and defense. Did a good job stopping us, shutting us down, and then being able to run the ball, as you see right there. They were really, really big, and I thought our guys fought hard. They had a lot of talent. A lot of those guys were able to go on to play in college to showcase that.
Well, you were the one who put together that first roster, and you've seen the roster that South Carolina has put together this year. Obviously, not a single player in common. It's a Senior Bowl. How do the teams differ? How is this year's South Carolina team different than last year's South Carolina team?
Well, I think last year we had a little bit smaller front line. I think this year we got a more solid front line up there that can be as physical and strong. We got a couple guys from Colleton, May River guys who are doing a really good job up there. But I also think we were able to throw the ball a little bit this year. They've caught some big passes to put them in situation. Obviously, that great fade route early on in the second quarter. I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about what they're doing here when they put together their roster, clearly Rodney Summers had a strategy. He took 3 receivers from Hilton Head, took 3 tight ends from May River. Instead of taking individual guys, it kind of seems like he took core groups from positions from different teams, so the chemistry was there. That's an interesting strategy.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to your selection of what you have available, and I think those were the units he had available. A lot of tight ends, a lot of good running backs coming into this year with the seniors. And he picked the guys that would meet an offense that would work for him, and it's done a great job so far.
And one thing I do want to ask you about, speaking of the guy you're talking about there, head coach Rodney Summers from May River, talk about a turnaround job for your crosstown rival, although I wouldn't say you guys are as much rivals as you are kind of frenemies.
Sure.
Based on what we're hearing out of Bluffton. But they went 2 wins each in their first 2 seasons. All of a sudden, double-digit wins. They get deep into the state playoffs. What did you see out of May River just being across the town this year? Because we would say that was probably the best story in Savannah area high school football this year.
Oh, I would agree. I remember back when Bluffton was in that same boat when we would have 2 wins or 3 wins, and then we came out with 10 wins. And it really bought into the community. And I think the community bought in the May River area, and they got behind the kids in the program. And those kids have been there for about 2 or 3 years now, and now they're seniors. And I think you can see development, and that's the importance of development, feeder systems, everything you're trying to put in. And those guys that were sophomores and freshmen early on were seniors and juniors, and you're able to see how it's all effective. And I think that's the biggest reason why they were so successful is those guys been there for 3 years. They bought into the program, and they knew everything that they were doing, and that's critical.
What makes Rodney Summers a good head coach?
Well, I think he's aggressive. I think he's feisty. I think he wants to win everything. I don't care if it's cup stacking. I don't care if it's football or basketball. I think he's very aggressive. I haven't played him in the golf course yet, but I think I'm going to try to go out to the fundraiser and see if we could get some golf going and see how he is there. But I think it's this aggressiveness of wanting to be successful.
And knowing these kids as well as you do and knowing Rodney as well as you do, what do you think we're going to see in the second half here?
I don't think they're going to change. I think they've been successful with what they're doing. Run the ball when they can. Purnell's run the ball real well. Peanuts run the ball real well. Doe, I think, will get some other opportunities to run the ball, which is going to set up their pass game. And I think defensively they're just going to try to keep flooding to the ball. I think Georgia kind of got away from their swing passes and their screens. And I think they're going to try to come back to that. And if they can wrap up on tackles, make 1 or 2 more turnovers, Team Low Country has a chance to win this.
For what it's worth, we just do this in the broadcast booth here on WSAV for fun. We like to set over-unders. Over-under 41. What do you think?
I think under.
Think the under? Good second half defense?
I do. I think they're going to make their adjustments and be able. I think it might get about 2, maybe 3 more scores at best.
All right, sounds good. Head coach of the Bluffton Bobcats, John Haupt, our first ever Low Country coach. Coach, you did a great job last year. Great to have you back again.
Thank you so much.
More of the halftime show rolling along here on the WSAV second annual Blitz Border Bowl. Team Georgia, Team South Carolina knotted up at 14. Greg Talbot, John Wood, and Justin Jarrett on hand for what has been a really good tie 14-14 game. And guys, before we get ready, second half, 2-3 minutes away, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our first half highlights. And this thing got off to an absolutely electric start, John.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, first play, screen, hit right deep. And then, I thought it was going to be track meet, and I thought, wow, the scores, it's going to be unreal.
Yeah, that was Winston Wright out of Memorial Day School, member of the Blue Thunder, multiple-time state champion. And as of right now, a West Virginia commit, although with Dana Holgerson leaving like we talked about in the first half, not entirely sure if that's exactly where he's going to end up. Let's take another look. The overlooked part there, Justin, was DeAndre Ruffin, the New Hampstead receiver, hit him right in stride.
Yeah, he threw a dime right on the money. Pretty good arm on a wide receiver.
And then the rest of the Team Georgia offense decided to show out. We would see Winston a little bit later, but Eric Phoenix, the quarterback out of Windsor Forest, has had a couple really good fake handoffs, John.
He's done a really good job managing the game, seeing the game, and being able to run when he can.
And then the second touchdown in the first quarter to Memorial Day School's Winston Wright. And they weren't done either. A little bit later, Team South Carolina steps up. They decided they wanted to play. Downfield, Shykeen Chisholm there, Justin. That was his big first half catch.
Yeah, he's a nice player out of Colleton County. And Jordan Gwynn with a great throw.
And then the first touchdown to Trey Pouchet out of Thomas Hayward, a guy who originally wasn't even on the roster.
Yeah, late addition and a star basketball player as well, so I'm a little surprised they were able to get him, but Trey Pouchet coming up big.
And then the defenses show up. This was the first interception by Sheldrick Gibbs out of Wade Hampton. I know that it's right now Pouchet and Wright who are the first half MVP candidates. I would say Gibbs has actually been just as much of an impact player.
I'd say he's the defensive MVP for sure.
Then a little bit later, Team Georgia's defense shows up. Amon Tinsley out of Jenkins.
Yeah, C.J. Brown's first play coming out, and he makes a bad read there, bad throw. Redeems himself later.
Then a fumble on the play. It was recovered by Low Country, only down one touchdown. And then they decided that they were going to get back in this thing with just minutes to go in the first half. And once again, they would call the number 10, Trey Pouchet, a perfectly placed pass by C.J. Brown.
Incredible pass, even more incredible catch, and Low Country showing up today.
Really quickly down to Connor Dale Preet before the second half. Connor?
I'm here with the entire Maxwell family. Of course, their loved one, Purnell Maxwell, is the star running back for the Low Country team. And I'm here right next to me is Gregoria Maxwell. She's Purnell's mother, and I just got to get your reaction the first half of the game. How do you think it went?
I think it went very well. At first, we was kind of concerned it was a little touch and go, but they recovered and they're doing an excellent job.
You know, and the reason why I knew you guys were Purnell's family is because I'm sitting here on the 20-yard line and I'm hearing, give the ball to 23, give the ball to 23. So you guys really want Purnell to get some more touches, I think.
We do. He had an excellent year, his 11th and 12th grade year. and he's doing a really good job out there. So
when I talked to Wade Hampton's coach a couple weeks ago, the first person he brought up was Purnell because of the character he was and the season he's having and just the talent of this guy. What's it like to see him put on the pads for the last time at the high school level, at least? I mean, is it a lot of emotions running through your mind? What's going through your head?
It's kind of emotional. He's the youngest of 4, so he's the baby, and this is his last year home. So it's a little emotional. I've been following him throughout his football career, and it's a little emotional knowing that this will be his last game for Wade Hampton.
Right, and I was able to talk to him a little bit earlier, and he said that this game meant a lot to him, and he wants to go out there and win, obviously, because he's a competitor. But what has he told you about what this game and this opportunity means to him?
He has huge goals, and he's always wanted to play for the NFL. So we're kind of weighing his options as to which college he's going to go to, and hopefully, he'll fulfill his dream as far as his football career.
To see him get on the field, clearly he's got a smile on his face whenever I see him just along the sideline. Does that kind of typify who he is as a person, just happy-go-lucky kind of guy?
Happy-go-lucky. Football is his life. That's what that's what he talk about, that's what he dream, that's what he think. So, that's just his life.
All right. And does the sister want to come in for a quick question? Let's see. You want to answer a quick question? This is Purnell's sister here. Now, again, I asked her this question as well. To see him out on the field last time in a high school career, playing in Memorial Stadium against a really good Georgia team, what's it been like to watch him to play out his final moments?
It's been great. He's doing good. I'm glad that he's doing it. He's doing what he's been wanting to do. So he's still good. He's doing good. He's doing good. I'm glad to be here and to see him play.
I know the entire Maxwell family's been waiting to hear this or waiting to do this. So I'm going to let the Maxwell family toss it back to you, Greg. All right, we need a big cheer for Purnell now. There he is right there. He's looking back now.
Oh, poor Purnell.
You guys rock. Greg, back to you. Back to you.
Yeah.
Purnell's looking over there.
Thanks,
looking back.
Connor.
He's wondering what's going on.
Yeah, I have to imagine Purnell is smiling or mortified. One of the two. There's Delvecchio Powell out of Memorial Day. He's going to go the distance. All 3 touchdowns for Georgia have come from Memorial Day Blue Thunder players.
Thunder and Lightning right there. The Lightning just struck, and they needed that. I mean, because as Connor Delpre was doing a great job there, Georgia's moving the ball, and it's just stalled. I mean, they can't get anything going, nothing there, and he dumps that pass off, and that's it. That's what they do.
Powell is very impressive. He's a big load to take down. They had him a couple times there, broke the tackles, off to the races.
We got offers to Wofford, Presbyterian, Jacksonville University, and possibly even more before signing day next month. And in case you're just joining us, first 2 touchdowns were from his high school football teammate Winston Wright, the West Virginia commit, and now Delvecchio's got a touchdown of his own. All 3 touchdowns from Blue Thunder players. That one flies through. And Georgia, after a quick first half start, Justin, out to a quick second half start as well.
Yeah, and to add on to that, 3 touchdowns from Memorial, 2 touchdowns from Pouchet, another private school player. So the private school kids are showing up here today.
And that's so funny because the truth of the matter is, John, about Savannah High School football is that often outside of Benedictine, it's the public schools that really are the bigger, stronger kids. You do have good private school teams like Calvary, like Savannah Christian, but man, like you said, the private schools are really making a difference today.
They really are. But I'm going to go back, Justin, that last series. Without the exception of that play, South Carolina's defense was playing very well.
Yeah, Sheldrick Gibbs made another big play.
All right, South Carolina offense back out for another drive, their first of the second half. 1 or 2 yards on the play as Jordan Gwynn, the Battery Creek quarterback, back in to run the offense. And I will say, Justin, Jordan Gwynn and C.J. Brown, both South Carolina quarterbacks, both, I would say, equally positive first halves. A couple mistakes by each guys, but also a touchdown each.
Yeah, they've played very well. And really, if you tried to rank all the low country quarterbacks this year, they're probably 5th or 6th on that list. Just most of the guys underclassmen, but they've showed up today.
Second down and long, up the middle they go. First down for Zach Doe. Speaking of private schools, that's a 15-yard gain out of the John Paul II Catholic school running back. And I know that we're making him sprint around the sidelines, but Connor Delpre has Delvecchio Powell, who just scored that touchdown.
Delvecchio Powell, who just scored that touchdown. And you right before we came on air, you said you had to make that play because earlier you had that tip pass. So when something like that happens where you make that play and you kind of got down on yourself a little bit, but you bounce back with something like that, is that typically how it goes for Delvecchio? Is you promise that you're going to fix your wrong?
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Got to. They got to have amnesia as a wide receiver and all that. Got to have amnesia.
Yeah, put the plays behind you and just move on to the next one.
Mental toughness, that's all it is.
Dude, Memorial Day is showing out today. What can you say about the Matadors, yourself, Winston, everyone else?
We off the team like we told everybody. I mean, we couldn't play everybody. We can't play nobody in the city, but everybody see it today. All supporters in the Savannah are seeing today. We the real deal.
You told me on Thursday that you guys have been waiting since middle school to play with these guys again. Has it lived up to expectations of just, playing with guys that you've seen, on TV, playing for other schools, but finally you guys are all buddies and you're back together playing again. Has it lived up to expectations?
Yes, sir. Bonding, competition, trash talking, all that lived up 100 all across the board.
How about the way you guys have responded? You get up 14, let Low Country back into the game a little bit. What's the conversation like at halftime? What are you telling the guys, or who are some of the leaders that are stepping up and talking to the team about what needs to happen?
Me and myself, Kalen Jakeem, quarterback Eric Phoenix, got on me about that drop pass. Yes, sir.
I'm going to go up to Eric real quick. You want to do an interview, man? Yeah. All right, dude. You've been airing it out today. Was that the game plan all along, is for you to show off that rocket arm? That I've tweeted you about that before, that you got that rocket arm. Was that the game plan from the start, is you guys were going to air this ball out?
Yeah, I was trying to make easy reads, get good guys in space, let them do all the work. I just sit back, take my reads, go open people. That's all.
And I know you and your dad are both very vocal on Twitter about getting some college coaches to get some eyes on you and get you some offers, man. What does this opportunity mean to you to be able to put on the pads for one last time as a high school player and maybe catch some more coaches' attentions?
I just feel good. I get to show what I can do against the best of the best, and I'm doing my best. That's all I can ask for.
How about this Low Country team, though? They kind of, they got a chip on their shoulder playing. They know that you guys are the big favorites coming into this. So how do you think they've responded and the team they've put together for today?
They're playing hard. I like the physical. They're playing real physical. They're fast. We got some good players on the side of the ball.
It's got to be real fun to throw to Winston Wright, Delvecchio Powell, Jordan Grant, I believe. So what's it like to have all that talent around you all in one spot for your last game?
Yeah, I played with them when I was younger in Little League, and it's fun to play with them again when we all in our prime, all got bigger, stronger, faster. It's fun.
All right, man. Delvecchio Powell. Well, Delvecchio just left. He's got his mind on other things. But Eric Phoenix, man, college coaches, get some eyes on this kid. He's got a rocket. You saw 3 touchdown passes today, right? Two touchdown passes. Gotcha. Didn't want to mess that up. But, hey, might be the game MVP. We'll have to see. Keep tuning in to WSAV. Yeah, there we go. Greg, back to you. These kids are awesome.
Thank you so much, Connor. 1st and 10, South Carolina offense back to work. And that one goes absolutely nowhere on 1st down from Jordan Gwynn. And before we get back to South Carolina, you were talking about Eric Phoenix, the Windsor Forest quarterback. John, he's a guy who was really the key agent in Windsor Forest becoming a star team this year. He does have college offers, 2 so far, to Hutchinson Community College and Union College. I think he could do a little better. I think college coaches should take notice about this kid. I think he could shoot higher than that.
I think he could, but also he goes to a Hutchinson Community College. He's out there, and he's going to have an opportunity to play at a really big Division I. Mid-level, group of 5, almost a guarantee there.
All right, 2nd down and 10 for South Carolina, down a touchdown. C.J. Brown tries to run the option, maybe a gain of 1 or 2 on the play. And Justin, we were at Team Low Country practice earlier this week, and Rodney Summers was saying, yeah, we're going to run the option. They really haven't done it much. I believe that's just the 2nd time we have seen it today.
Yeah, it's been more read option type stuff, not as much running the straight option. I think we got a little extracurricular after the play.
And a flag on the play. Let's see. And that one's against Team Georgia. That's going to march him pretty deep back into Coastal Empire territory. And we'll see if South Carolina can respond after Team Georgia put up their first touchdown since midway through the 1st quarter. Although, John, I will say, with Georgia back on offense on that last drive, they went back to what worked, which is the short, medium swing passes.
They did do that, but I'm going to say to Justin, I mean, you know, South Carolina, they kind of had their back against the wall there, and they went back to what worked for them. And, I mean, you got to give them credit.
Yeah, they came to play for sure.
Blitz coming, ball's on the ground, and it's going back the other way. It's Julian Roberts, the 4th touchdown for Memorial Day School.
Unbelievable. Zach Doe looked like he was surprised that the defense was on him so quick there, and he just never got a good handle on it. Put it on the ground.
The Memorial Day Blue Thunder showing up all the big schools. The Giza small independent powerhouse has all 4 touchdowns, 2 from Winston Wright, 1 from Delvecchio Powell, and now a fumble return touchdown from Julian Roberts, the 6'3", 200-pound defensive lineman.
What an amazing scoop and score right there. I mean, he was Johnny on the spot there. Looked like he got a shortstop off the turf. Just amazing.
If you were to guess which school of all of them would be responsible for 4 touchdowns today, I'm not sure any of us would have thought that was Memorial, although that one bounces off to the side from Salazar, no good. The score will stay 27-14. John, I'm not sure any of us saw this coming from Memorial. I mean, obviously they win state championships. They're an independent powerhouse, but this is something else.
This is absolutely amazing. I mean, Winston Wright, one thing, but, you know, I mean, Powell, he is just an uncorked weapon. But that scoop and score, that was just a thing of beauty right there. Now, Justin, you watch a lot of South Carolina football and everything. I'm sure you've seen them in this type of situation before. You're down 6:07, third quarter. This is an important series, but what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You know, Jordan Gwynn went out on that last series with what looked like an injury, and you know, he's the more effective quarterback. Looks like he's going to be back in now. So
yeah, he's trotting back on the field.
That's good for the Low Country because they definitely need a score here. They've been in this situation already in this game, and they were able to dig out of the hole. But let's see if they can answer the bell again.
All right, 1st down and 10 from the 30-yard line comes South Carolina Low Country, and Jordan Gwynn back in at quarterback after he went out with what looked like an injury. Stays on his feet. He didn't go out of bounds. Turns that into a gain of 5 or 6 yards. The Battery Creek QB looking, I would say, he looks fine, Justin.
Yeah, it looks like he's all right. He was kind of going along with the flow there, and then everybody else kept moving toward the sideline, and he broke away from the pack.
Well, most of the defensive line for the Coastal Empire just got stuck. I mean, they got stuck in trash, couldn't get out and everything. Very good job on Jordan's part, finding the spot there, getting up there.
And for what it's worth, if you were wondering, we mentioned at halftime that we had the over-under fun one for this game set at 41. We just hit 41 points, but there might be more. Caught! It's Pouchet! It's his 3rd touchdown, and South Carolina's roaring back.
Wow. Jordan Gwynn just decided, I'm going to throw it up there and let Trey Pouchet go get it. Trey Pouchet is balling out today.
So 4 touchdowns for Memorial Day and 3 for Thomas Hayward for Justin, a kid who wasn't even on the roster a week ago.
Yeah, I mean, he was the region overall player of the year. You know, he used him mostly as a running back at Thomas Hayward, but they didn't have a guy who could really throw it downfield like that. You can see what he can do. I think wide receiver is a more natural position for him.
And the 2nd touchdown pass of the day for Jordan Gwynn out of Battery Creek. And I would say, John, doubly impressive because he was injured and he just came back in on that drive.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was really just showed his guts and everything. Goes back to what he was saying and the quote and everything about playing out here and how important this is. Amazing play there. And, I mean, he just said it. Going back to the first quarter, I'm going to pick on the weakest cornerback. I'm going to find him, and I'm going to exploit him. And I'm going to tell you right now, Pouchet, if he's not on the radar as a wide receiver for somebody, he needs to be.
Coastal Empire 27, Low Country 21. They are right back in it, folks, and this game is getting good. In case you weren't with us at halftime, let's remind you about what last year's game was. There was only one touchdown. It felt like 30 degrees. It was all defense. Final score was 15-3. Team Georgia beat Team South Carolina off one touchdown from Toot Johnson, the running back out of Effingham County. All of a sudden, the spread offenses and the offensive fireworks, they are showing out today, John. This is a very different kind of game.
It is. It really is. It's very surprising.
All right, Gus Bachman out of an empty backfield comes near side to Chris Coleman out of Liberty County, and he's taken down for a loss on the play. Defense there to gobble him up. And in on the tackle that time, Jordan Barrow out of May River.
Nice stick by Jordan Barrow. Had 155 tackles this year. He's kind of a little undersized to be playing that linebacker spot at that level, but he's always gets to the ball. He's in on every play.
Well, I would say based on how fast this Georgia offense is, Justin, what you really need for South Carolina is speed on defense.
Yeah, for sure, and they've got some. I mean, you know, look at Sheldrick Gibbs, defensive tackle who can really move around.
And you knew exactly what Georgia was getting ready to do. They're getting ready to go into a pass set. The tackle goes into a pass set before everybody else moves. So, you know, you just move yourself back more.
2nd down and 15. Bachman throwing deep for Winston Wright into double coverage, and it's knocked away. But a flag comes in. That's going to be pass interference against South Carolina.
I think that's offensive.
Do you think so?
It was for me.
Well, South Carolina looks mad. I think they're assuming it's against them.
Yeah, it is against them, but C.J. Brown was playing center field ready to make the catch, and the receiver ran into him. I think that's a bad call.
The get-back coach better go get the defensive coordinator off the field before he picks up another flag. I mean, he's livid and he's unhappy. The only thing I can see right there is on the point of the throw, and I haven't seen the review, is it looks like a face guard to me.
Yeah, it's pass interference on the defense.
C.J. Brown was camped out, can of corn.
They had hands,
and the receiver grabbed him with both hands.
They had hands all over each other. I'm not sure you can call that on just one team. I think that'd go both ways and offset.
Or just don't throw the flag.
Either one. Second one's always an option. So penalties on back-to-back plays. Turns this into 2nd down and 1 for Team Keyshawn
Hipp came over and put a couple hands on his back, and I think that's where the flag came in, and I think that's why CJ was upset.
Why you got to do that to me, man?
Yeah, man. Stole his pick.
All right, so that turns into 3rd down and 1 now for Team Georgia.
That's a big play, too, because Low Country was trying to get off the field. What are they doing?
I think the referees are conferring. I'm not sure they all agree on that defensive pass interference call.
Making it up as we go along here.
Well, but now you've got
it's an exhibition.
You got the coordinator, you got a defensive coach on the field. I mean, you better get off there because they will flag you for that. Still trying to make his case.
Let's wait for the call.
Gonna do the do-over?
I wonder if we're about to get a second call, but it doesn't look like it. All right, call it 2nd down and 1. Got to get up to the 40-yard line on this play to keep this drive going and try to keep the ball out of Team South Carolina's hands as we inch our way toward the end of the 3rd quarter. Second down and 1. Winston Wright in motion. He'll get it. dives ahead, and it looks like he picks up the first down by just a yard. And by the way, folks, you might be wondering, man, these jerseys look great. The uniforms look great. Where'd they get them? Well, we'd like to thank our friends at Specialty Sports for providing the uniforms for this year's Blitz Border Bowl game. Up the middle to Wallace. 47-yard line, gain of 6.
He's a load to bring down. And just ran into the line, moved the pile.
New Hampstead, John, one of the really interesting stories of Savannah area high school football this year, the team out of Bloomingdale. They lost their coach early in the season, somehow still managed to make the playoffs, get a great win out at Stars Mill with an upset win. New Hampstead, one of the great stories.
Yeah, at Stars Mill, I was looking back when I was watching the film on some of these players, and, you know, even though they lost 25-6 to Stockbridge, I mean, Stockbridge is a good football team, and, I mean, a lot of athletes there, so nothing, I mean, very impressive.
New first down. Gus Bachman swings it out, intended for Ruffin, another New Hampstead Phoenix player. No pass interference called. That's what he wanted. That'll bring up second down, and no PI. Good coverage there by Jalen Pierce, another member out of the Wade Hampton team there, Justin.
Yeah, again, I'm not as familiar with Wade Hampton, but obviously they had a great season. Jerry Brown is a South Carolina Football Hall of Famer as their head coach, and has done a great job of revitalizing that program.
All right, second down and 10. Winston Wright at the bottom of your screen. Outside to Chris Coleman. The Liberty County all-time leading rusher goes nowhere. Defense there to greet him. And Mike Ludwig out of May River, the first among many to get there.
Low country defense is getting a lot of hats to the ball all of a sudden, aren't they?
Amazing, amazing. I mean, that's 5 hats to the football right there. That's the way you play defensive football. I don't think he wanted to run it that far, but the tackles just never got him sealed.
Well, guys, it looks to me like South Carolina is picking up on a trend. Georgia's going back to what works, which is short inside 5-yard passes and sweep runs. If you can guard the edges, you're going to have a much higher success rate, and that's what's happening now. Out to Delvecchio Powell. And the Blue Thunder wide receiver has another first down.
Heck of a block downfield by Winston right there. He sealed that edge.
Yeah, his teammate got him there.
That's one thing I'll say about the wide receivers on both sides. Now, wide receivers not so much in South Carolina because they don't employ them. But Georgia does a very good job of keeping the block downfield.
Well, would you look at this? He did not get the first down. It's going to be 4th down and inches on the other end of this commercial break. Jason Cameron, the offensive coordinator, looks like he wants to go for this. We'll see if they can convert. 4th and short after this. To you by Cintas. Contact Cintas today for your uniform and facility service needs to get you ready for the workday. We are back on WSAV. Team Georgia on top of South Carolina by 1 touchdown with a hair over 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Delvecchio Powell got up to the 37-yard line, the 38-yard line rather, before the commercial break. It's 4th down and inches to go for Team Georgia. John, what do you think we're going to see here out of Coastal Empire?
I think you'll see, you're obviously going to see a heavy set here. Just trying to get the yard.
Kalen Deloach, the linebacker, is out of the Wildcat, and they whistle the play dead before he takes it.
It's too bad. I wanted to see that play unfold.
I was going to say, we really haven't seen a lot out of Kalen today, really. That might be an illegal formation was my thought.
That's what I was kind of thinking myself there, illegal formation.
Well, that's a shame. I wanted to see the Florida State commit linebacker take it along the outside, John.
Yeah, I mean, get him the ball and let him get the yard. But now, I mean,
plot thickens.
Got to throw the ball now.
All right, so they have brought back in Eric Phoenix, the Windsor Forest quarterback, who zipped 2 touchdown passes today for Georgia. He's got Tyler Bailey to the top of your screen. Ruffin on the bottom, swing it outside to Winston Wright. And as great as he has been today, he can't do it all. A couple yards short. That'll be a turnover. And South Carolina gets the ball back. And All of a sudden here, Justin, 1:45 to go in the third quarter. They've got a chance to drive down and tie.
Huge stop for South Carolina's defense there. They have really stepped up after those first 2 series and played really well today. And now Jordan Gwynn gets to go back out there and see if he can lead this offense one more time. Got a heck of a game going here, Greg.
When you're playing this way, though, when you're playing like South Carolina is, I mean, breaks like that happen for you. I mean, the fourth and 1, that it goes to now a tough play. It's a completely different play, and now South Carolina's got a little confidence there, playing with a lot of confidence.
All right, South Carolina in the white uniforms has made another quarterback change. C.J. Brown and a Whale Branch in. That ball's on the ground. He recovers it himself. That was nearly scooped up by Dedrick Butler Jr., who's already made a sack. The defensive lineman out of Richmond Hill, but good heads-up awareness. I would say the running back wasn't expecting him to make the handoff or something. That was miscommunication between him and his running back.
Yeah, and, you know, those are the kinds of things that happen when you've got guys who haven't played together.
That was him and John Swinton out of Bluffton with the miscommunication.
Right. That happens when you've got guys who haven't played together before. They had 4 practices and tried to put in an offense, and you're going to have those kinds of things happen. But fortunately, C.J. Brown able to get back on it for the Low Country.
Yeah, the truth about this game is that it's a lot easier to just swarm to the ball on defense and put together an easy 3-4 set. A lot easier than installing a whole offense.
Oh.
Pass incomplete. That one was nearly intercepted and run back if Mikael Jackson out of New Hampshire had been able to hold on to it.
You know, I think that's why we're all except Connor, we're all a little surprised at how well the offenses have performed today.
Yeah,
because
for what it's worth, Connor was the only, we set the over-under at 41. Connor was the only one who hit the over today, and good for him.
He believed in those offensive players.
Yep.
Well, I think right now, if you're third down, I mean, this is a huge obviously a huge third down for South Carolina, but this is a huge third down for Georgia, too, because Georgia needs to get the defense off the field.
Third down and 14. Let's see how far Gwynn can throw it as Georgia shows blitz. Watch out around the edge, downfield in the coverage. No flags. 4th down.
Pouchet very nearly ran under that one.
Again, I mean, the coverage is not really tight there by Georgia. It's good enough to make it happen, but yeah, Pouchet is about right there to just pull it out.
Well, Georgia's finally doing the smart thing on defense, which is no matter how much it looks like they're going to throw on South Carolina, you leave Owen Tinsley back as the safety. You just leave him in case they throw deep to Pouchet, right?
Yeah, you just can't let him burn you anymore.
All right, so here comes a punt for Team Low Country. But I don't know, guys, a sneaky part of me wonders with 40 seconds until the end of the third quarter is the fact that Coastal Empire missed an extra point going to haunt this game, because if Low Country drives down, scores, and it's the PAT, all of a sudden they're in the lead. I don't think we're looking at an overtime game. I think we could possibly be looking, depends on what happens, we might be looking at a 1-point game here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, too. You wouldn't expect that with the uncontested extra points, but never know. Never know what's going to happen with those high school kickers.
Well, especially not out of one out of Richmond Hill, which has just become a kicking factory the last couple of years. First down. Phoenix going downfield for Winston Wright. Yes, sir! It's his 3rd touchdown, and Georgia's pulling away.
Okay, that's not even fair. It just looks like they're playing catch on the beach or something. I mean, wow.
3 touchdowns for Winston Wright out of Memorial Day School. He and Eric Phoenix look like they've been playing together for years.
If he doesn't want to go to West Virginia, I guarantee we can start a bidding war on him, and he can probably pick where he wants to go.
Offers to Boston College, UCF, Appalachian State, Western Kentucky, Troy, and a lot more. And let's see if we can get our own Connor Del Prete to get Winston here on the sideline.
I still can't believe Eric Phoenix doesn't have better offers than he has. That guy can play.
It could change after this.
Field goal is up and good, 34-21. And it looks like we have WSCV sports reporter Connor Del Preet with Winston Wright, who just took home his 3rd touchdown. Connor, what's up with the Jet, buddy?
Ready? Yeah. All right, I'm here with the crew. Winston Wright having a day, dude. 3 touchdowns, playing out of your mind. How can you explain what level you're on right now?
Just out there having fun, really just not thinking about nothing, just playing with my boys.
That's what you said when I was with you on Thursday. This is an escape for you to just kind of forget about everything else and just do your thing. I mean, could this day be going any better for you guys right now?
Just blessed to be out here playing with people I grew up with and just having fun.
Memorial Day, man. You, Del Vecchio, accounting for, I think it's all the points. This is a good opportunity for you guys to play with other Savannah teams because you're not usually able to do that.
Right. It's just a good opportunity just to show what we got and just come prove out, well, not really prove ourselves, but just have fun.
All right. The day. Kalen, what's the defense got to do to lock it down from here on out?
Well, you know, we just got to be confident at the DB area, you know, because everything on the run is being stopped, so they ain't got nothing better else to do is throw the ball.
Sometimes you just sit back and watch Winston play and you're just amazed at the stuff he does. I mean, 3 touchdowns today. He's taking the top off the defense just with ease. Are you amazed sometimes when you just watch him play?
Oh, yeah, because, you know, he's super fast, so I can see that he out here exposing the other DBs, and, you know, he's just having fun with it.
Last time, putting on the high school pads, get to do it with all your buddies. Could you think of a better way to kind of end your high school career than just having fun with your guys?
Oh, you know, I like to end my high school career with a win with my boys. You know, so it's probably a chance that we probably won't get to play with each other at the next level. So, you know, it's a good time having fun with the boys out here today.
4th quarter coming up. You guys got this in the bag?
Oh, yeah, so we're going to defense going to keep doing what they're doing. Offense going to keep doing what they're doing. Come out with a W.
All right, man. Kalen DeLoach, Winston Wright, 2 studs for Team Georgia. They're living up to the hype, man. Greg, I'm tossing it back to you guys up there.
All right, thank you, Connor. Nearing the end of the 3rd quarter, that's a complete pass, and that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. That is a hauled-in pass by C.J. Brown, and that'll take us down. It's a 13-point game, 34-21, but South Carolina threatening to score again. I think we are looking at the first instant classic Blitz Border Bowl. 4th quarter, minutes away. But the Low Country driving on 2nd down and 1 as they put a man in motion. Down 13 points to begin the 4th quarter. Up the middle they go to Purnell Maxwell, and the Wade Hampton Red Devil takes it in, and it's a 1-touchdown game. How about that? What a way to begin the 4th quarter. And guys, Justin and John, we were saying just a few seconds ago, is there a chance that South Carolina can win this game down 2 touchdowns? I think Purnell Maxwell says yes, sir.
Hey, they have shown no quit today for sure. They've brought it all day long, and you know that Maxwell family is getting wild over there.
When he touched that football, it was done. I mean, it was done. He hit that hole, and there was nobody stopping him.
That's what we expected to see them do all day today, and really it's been the passing game, but Purnell getting it going there.
Well, going back to before we got down there and got to the 4th quarter in that series, the quarterback did something I hadn't seen. The nice little rollout and the dump pass there to get them inside the red zone after the pass interference play. You know, I mean, South Carolina's putting together a whole game, all phases.
Absolutely right. So in case you're just joining us, last year's Blitz Border Bowl, the final score was 15-3, Georgia on top of South Carolina. The coaches clearly came prepared with offense today, and all of a sudden we got ourselves a 6-point game. We set the over-under at 41. It has blown the over-under way off. Eric Phoenix, the Windsor Forest quarterback, taken down for a loss of 5. In South Carolina, Justin, they got all the momentum right now.
Sheldrick Gibbs again. I talked to Jerry Brown, Wade Hampton coach, at halftime. He said Gibbs not getting a lot of interest, but really more of a junior college type guy. And if some junior colleges see this film today, they're going to be all over him, John.
If I'm a junior college right now, I'm taking him, and in 2 years, every Division I will want him.
Jerry Brown said he could play in the NFL today.
2nd down and 10. Phoenix goes across his body, complete pass.
Low Country is fired up right now.
Called in by Delvecchio Powell there. I'll bring up 3rd down and 11 after the short game.
I mean, if you're Georgia right here, you have to throw the football. You can't run the ball. You're going to have to but you're going to have to go down the field here. You can't just pop pass it.
3rd and 11. Chris Coleman in the backfield flanking Phoenix. Winston Wright in the slots. Phoenix steps up and he's going to try to run past Gibbs. He's got the 1st down up to the 45-yard line. Union College and Hutchinson Community College want the Georgia quarterback. And I think if folks are watching who are recruiters or coaches today, you might want to give this kid a second look.
That was all Phoenix right there, because I'm going to.
All right, let's go back down to the sideline. Connor Del Preet has not his family, but Pernell Maxwell himself.
Who just broke off a nice little touchdown run. I think it was a long time coming for you. We knew coming into this game you were a stud at running back. You were talking about earlier in the week how you guys were too fast, too strong to lose this game. Is that the run you guys needed to kind of grab that momentum back?
That's all we need. That's all we need to stick to the game plan, block. Hey, don't forget what you're supposed to do. Play your part in the team, you're going to win. I got you.
And I can't help but hear the screams behind me whenever you get the ball or whenever you step on the field. To have your whole family here, your mom, your sister, everyone else, that's got to have a special place in your heart, family, right?
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like everybody on my back, I got them, right? I feel like I can carry them.
And I asked some players on Georgia as well, could this day be going better for you in terms of just having fun, getting a touchdown, scoring, putting the pads on for the last time at the high school level? Could this day be going any better for you?
It can't be going any better. It's going to be better when we win. We're going to win. You got it.
What are you telling the team as you're walking down the sideline with the score, one-score game in the 4th quarter? What are you telling these guys to keep their heads in the game, keep them focused, keep them motivated about getting that W?
Stick to the game plan. Hey, our game plan don't change. We've been doing it the whole time. We've been 0-4 when we first started, 0-14 when we first started. You see, right now, we're in the same position. We come back, all we got to do is score, and we can hit on field goal. We'll be straight, we'll win.
All right, man, the beast, Maxwell, just scored a touchdown, maybe many more in the 4th quarter. Greg, back to you.
On our injury timeout on the field, we'll take a quick one with them on WSAV. 10 minutes to go, 6-point game. Back in a second. And Team Georgia comes back out facing a little opposition of their own. 3rd down and 2. Let's see what the quarterback, Eric Phoenix, out of Windsor Forest, can put together. He'll keep it himself. It looks like he got it by maybe a half yard, but we're going to have to wait for the referees.
I think they might have stopped him short. Depends on the spot. Oh, no, they're saying move the chains. But
referees talking amongst each other, looking to the sideline.
Well, the white hat's saying move the chains, but looking at where the ball is spotted.
Team South Carolina is contesting us. They don't think he got it.
I'll tell you what, neither one of these teams is playing like this is an exhibition right now. They want to win this football game.
Update from the sideline. Jordan Barrow was the player from May River who was just injured. It looks like they had to readjust his shoulder, but it sounds like it's good and okay now.
Readjusting your shoulder sounds a little more serious to me than it probably is to him, but
1st down, Team Georgia, and Team Low Country is going nuts on the sideline.
I think they've got a case. It looked like that ball was short, or at least worthy of a measurement.
So new 1st 10 for Team Georgia, up 6 points. They need a touchdown because a touchdown and a PAT for South Carolina puts them ahead. Hand off to Dontre Wallace out of New Hampstead, and he's taken down for a gain of 4 yards.
It's getting a little chippy out there. They're hitting.
Yeah, there's been some. I'd like to hear that knocked up down there. There's been some blows.
I don't think we can put that on TV without the FCC coming down our throats,
yeah,
John.
That's what I was going to say. I think the fines would be pretty hefty.
You got to think Georgia's going to go back up top here.
Well, they've cleared out the right side of the field for Tyler Bailey out of Southeast Bullock, who they've targeted a couple times but has not made any big catches yet today. Back to Wallace on the ground. Gain of 2. Here comes 3rd down.
Yeah, they're kind of getting out of their element a little bit right now, just trying to run the ball and run the clock. And that's not really been what they've done today. They've been able to spread the field and push the tempo a little bit when they've been the most effective. So, you know, you hate to play not to lose, but it kind of feels like that's how they're playing on offense right now.
Well, they're certainly running the clock. They're approaching 7 minutes, and knowing Team South Carolina that they can strike at any time with the big pass over the top, it's got to worry you just a little bit. Phoenix keeps it himself. 40-yard line. He's not going to get there, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Outside of Phoenix running the ball, Georgia has been pretty much non-existent in the rushing game. And, you know, this is it. You got to, it's going up top.
All right, Georgia's going for it on 4th down and 5. 2 safeties back for South Carolina. Phoenix tries to draw them off sides, and it's not going to work. 10 seconds on the play clock. He had Ruffin thrown to the sideline, over the top. It's dropped by Delvecchio Powell. That's a turnover.
That is a turnover.
And folks, I hate to do this to you, but we have to let you know. We have to let you go right now because we are running up on the NFL playoffs here on WSAV. To watch the remainder of this game, head over to WSAV.com right now. Look for the live stream link, and on WSAV.com, you can watch the remaining 6.5 minutes of this instant classic game. And at 6 and 11 o'clock on WSAV News, we will have a complete highlight recapping interviews from this game.
All right, Justin, 6:24 here. If you're South Carolina, what's your plan to get in the end zone?
I mean, do what you've been doing. I think you got to try to run the ball a couple times and then look for a shot over the top.
Ground game's not going to do anything that time for South Carolina. 2nd down and 10 coming up. So once again, if you are watching live on WSAV to watch the remainder of this game, head on over to WSAV.com for the rest if you don't want to watch the NFL playoffs. But if you want to watch the NFL playoffs and find out what happened here, WSAV News tonight at 6 and 11 for your official recap. But back here, no gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. Only one wide out. Maxwell flanking Gwen in the backfield. Play action, Gwen to the outside. Going deep for his tight end out of May River, Cam Gleason. Incomplete pass. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10 in the South Carolina passing game, which has been very good. All of a sudden is staring down 3rd down and 10, and that's not going well.
Yeah, 3rd and 10 right here. I mean, you've got to pick up this 1st down. So, I mean, do you go back and you just... But you can't run the ball in the middle. I mean, they are packing the middle. So you got to find something here, Justin. I mean, do you go to the jet sweep? Do you motion out? What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those take what the defense gives you situations. You line up at the line, make a read, and try to find something you can exploit.
Georgia blitz is big. Gwynn looking deep. Incomplete, out of bounds. I think he was looking for Pouchet or Micah Burton, but that'll bring up 4th down and 10. Here's the thing. 5:27 left. You are running up against that time where if Georgia scores and you give the ball back to them, you might be done. So what do you do?
Well, I think if you were going to go for it on 4th down, then you had to do something a little different on 3rd down there and try to pick up 4 or 5 yards and make it a little more feasible on 4th.
Rodney Summers is going to trust his defense to make a stop. He's sending out the punt unit.
With 5:27, I think that's a good idea because you got plenty of time right now. Your defense is playing as well as they can possibly play. I mean, they could come up with a big turnover here. Very possible.
All right, Team Georgia's not going to have very good field position, pinned down inside their own 15-yard line, but with runners like Dontre Wallace, Chris Coleman, Jalen Leary, a running quarterback like Eric Phoenix, targets like Wright and Powell and Grant. They are built around speed. They are built when they want to to run the ball, John. And now this is the running game on this drive for Team Georgia against the defensive line of South Carolina. If South Carolina doesn't make a stop and fast, Georgia's going to run out the clock and win.
I don't know so much if they're going to come out and really run the ball because they haven't had a lot of success running the ball. I think they'll chip away at the passes and everything. He'll hit Delvecchio, Powell, things like that.
All right, 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line. This could be the last stand on defense for South Carolina. Phoenix will keep it himself on the read option. Out of bounds to the 18 and a gain of 6.
You don't want to go out of bounds.
No, you don't want to go out of bounds. You're right, but I think right now this is just something that more shows Eric Phoenix and who he is. I think it's get on my back, boys. I'm going to take you there, and I'm going to get you there. If we have to go up there, we will, but if not, I'm going to get you there.
Clock stops at 5:12. Georgia driving and only up 6 points. Jalen Leary out of Calvary takes a hit, and he turns it into a first down and a lot more. The 2017 Single A Region Player of the Year up to the 45-yard line, and all of a sudden things are looking good for Team Coastal Empire.
That was a heck of a hit he took to bounce off of it and keep moving. That is incredible.
And look at him go, man. He's not even that big, 5'9", 185, but he's always been able to slip out of tackles. That's been one of his strengths, John, at Calvary.
He just kind of pinballed off there, and I mean, when he got free, I mean, he was gone.
He's quick.
He is quick.
Down inside 5 minutes. Up the middle to Wallace, their big running back. And the big boy gets 4 yards.
And now Georgia, I mean, now you're in the driver's seat. You can pretty much pick and choose what you want to run. But I still think there could be that possibility. If they see it, they're going to go up top and get the big play.
I mean, that's been the bread and butter all day. You look at the touchdowns, they've almost all been long passes.
Second down and 6 yards. 2 safeties back for South Carolina. Linebackers come off the edge, and they can't take down Wallace. It's a defensive lineman that gets to him, but only stops him 1 or 2 yards short. This might be the defining play of the day on defense for South Carolina. If they can end this Georgia drive, they're going to have a chance.
Yeah, we sure didn't think it would come down to the wire like this, but man, this game has been a lot of fun. And both teams really getting after it, playing hard. This is everything that you hope that an all-star game like this will be.
Defensively right here, I think if you're South Carolina, you have got to get some serious pressure up front and force Phoenix to do something he doesn't want to do.
3rd and 1. Phoenix to throw. Downfield into coverage. And it's intercepted. It's Kaishan Hip for the 2nd time today. And he's going to run it back to the 39-yard line. The 2nd interception for the linebacker out of Whale Branch. Justin, you love this kid.
Yeah, I really do. He's looks more at home playing in more of a safety position for them here today than he did during the regular season with Whale Branch. And he's one of those guys that he was right there with Irvin Mulligan and Jaheim Hazel as a key player for that Whale Branch team. And he didn't get quite as much interest from the colleges, but maybe after today, add to the highlight tape and maybe he'll get some more love.
Okay, so here's where we are right now. When we come back from the replay, I want you to look at the score. It's a 6-point game with 3 minutes to go. South Carolina only has to go 62 yards. Handoff to John Swinton out of Bluffton, a gain of 5. A touchdown ties, a touchdown and a PAT wins.
Could come down to the kicker, Jonathan Orr from Hilton Head.
And don't forget, they're not allowed to rush the kick.
That's right.
So a touchdown all but guarantees it.
It's like a free throw.
Clock running. This will take us down inside 2:30.
You still have to hit that free throw, though.
You do, and there's something odd about no pressure on a kick, I think.
Pernell Maxwell, for one of the very few times today, picks up almost no yardage on the play. The rumbling fullback out of Wade Hampton, maybe a gain of 1, setting up 3rd down and a crucial 4 yards, and this will take us down inside 2 minutes.
Now, if you're South Carolina, I really got to keep an eye on that clock because it's going down.
You're taking too long.
Yeah, I'd almost take a timeout here.
They're taking too long, Justin.
They're taking a lot of time. Maybe trying to lull the defense.
Well, I guess with only 4 practices,
here.
you probably didn't have time to run hurry up, did you?
Yeah.
3rd and 4 to the big boy Purnell. First down across the 50. Stays on his feet to the 45. I think that was a dead ball. It was no fumble to the 45 and temporarily stopped the clock and moved the chains.
Yeah, he's crawling right there on that one. That's not at all.
Ground caused the fumble.
But again, if I'm South Carolina, I've got to be looking at that clock.
They're going to have to air it out. This is going to take us down inside 90 seconds.
Maybe they're afraid they'll score too fast, John.
No. They got to go to a formation with more than one receiver. Georgia bringing a big blitz to the outside. Maxwell, rather that's Zach Doe from John Paul II, going nowhere. Loss of 4. They're going to want a timeout, I believe, and they'll take their first. That is the first timeout for Team Low Country. Now they've got 50 yards to go. The question is, Justin, when are you going to air it out? Because you only have so many chances.
Yeah, they're still loading up the line of scrimmage there, and
you got to throw
going
right?
all the way to run. But you're going to have to hit a couple passes here. Preserve clock and try to move down the field.
Well, the fact that you are a team that loves to run as much as the Low Country, this is where this actually hurts you, because if you're all of a sudden come out in a formation with 4 receivers, Georgia knows they don't have to stack the box and they can bring out all those great DBs.
Yeah, and the Low Country's got some receivers, though. We've seen Trey Pouchet making big plays.
3 touchdowns.
Chisholm with a couple big catches. One guy we haven't even really seen, haven't called his name yet, Deontay Richard from Hilton Head. He had the most receiving yards in the Low Country this season, so maybe he comes out of nowhere and makes a big catch here.
Well, Pouchet lines up as the X. I'm telling you right now, if I'm the secondary,
double team.
I press him. Then I might put a linebacker. I might cheat a linebacker over to hit on halfway, and I have the safety over him. I mean, because he's the one that's going to beat you.
Only one wideout.
I think they feel like they have to have those tight ends to block.
2nd and 13 for Pouchet. Nearly intercepted out of the hands of Ronald Fusilier, the cornerback out of Richmond Hill. That was nearly the game.
They were going for everything there.
Yeah, but good for Georgia for putting 4 guys back in the secondary.
Well, I mean, like John said, he's the only guy who's going to beat you right now with just one receiver out there. You know where it's going. They're going to have to do something to spread it out a little bit more and make them cover more than one guy.
You know, John, I'm wondering, have we seen a formation with more than 2 wide receivers just schematically from South Carolina today?
Not really. I mean, I've seen some stacked stuff and everything, but yeah. I mean,
no spread.
They operate within the hashes.
Yeah.
I think they feel like they need those 2 and 3 tight end sets to be able to protect their quarterback with that pass rush for Georgia, and that just limits what they can do down the field.
I mean, now if you're them drawing this up, I mean, you could go with some kind of where you actually put the H back in as kind of a receiver type situation. You have got to get a first down here. You need to move the ball. I mean, they're doing a little better job on the clock management, but I would have went back to about 2:05, 2:10. I would have used the timeout at that 2:05, 2:10. And going back to Georgia's last play, which I told you that I figured, being this type of game, they're going to air it out. But as they aired it out, did you notice that ball that Phoenix threw was not enough on that ball? I mean, that was an underthrown ball big time. Otherwise, he can't go over there and make that because that's something that Wright could grab. So that's just a good job on South Carolina's defensive back there for being there.
They also had good pressure on him on that play. And in fact, I was afraid they were going to get a roughing the passer call because they got a lick in on him right as he threw the ball.
All right, 3rd down and 13. 2 safeties back for Georgia. Kalen DeLoach, the outside linebacker, showing blitz. Screen play, knocked away. 4th down.
It's a big-time defensive play there. Curtis Fan out of Emmanuel County getting his big mitts up there, knocking it down.
All right, this is go for it time. Minute to go. 4th and 13. The last stand for Rodney Summers and Team South Carolina Low Country. They lost last year in the first Blitz Boulder Bowl.
Uh-oh.
Looks like we have some extracurricular activity.
Getting a little chippy.
The flag must be for some kind of unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's probably going to be on Team Georgia looking at it.
Looks like it.
That's a tough one, too, because that's automatic first. Or is it offset? What is it?
I think he called it on Low Country.
I think so too.
No, it's on.
It's on South Carolina.
It's on South Carolina.
It's moving him back.
I like the call on the screenplay there by South Carolina, and they had it set up well.
No, it's on Georgia.
Is it?
Oh, that is huge.
They're pushing it back.
Georgia, that is huge.
Giving them a first down.
First down, South Carolina. That's going to put them at the 33-yard line of Team Georgia.
The plot thickens.
And South Carolina has 68 seconds and 2 timeouts. Don't forget, it's only a 6-point game. It's not 7. Team Coastal Empire missed a field goal earlier on in this game.
This is wild.
And
they
4
missed a PAT.
downs. Wow.
Well, what a break for Team Low Country. You just got to keep an eye on Trey Pouchet if you're the Georgia defense.
And now they do have Deontay Richard out there split out wide right. He's a yards after catch kind of guy. Maybe they hit him on a quick one.
He's got Richard off his hands, low throw from Jordan Gwynn, the quarterback.
That was a good throw, though. That was a really good throw. I mean, you're in that nice soft zone there between the cornerback and the linebackers. I mean, just that's a nice throw.
Again, I like the play call there. Just looking for something short and get some yards after the catch. Just didn't execute it.
I mean, you're 104 here. You don't have to go down the field.
Second down and 10. Pouchet split to the top of your screen. It's a handoff to Pernell Maxwell. The big fella's going to eat. He's down inside the 10-yard line, and South Carolina's rolling inside a minute to go.
Pernell Maxwell will get it down the field for you.
Team Low Country is not going away. They want to win their first Border Bowl battle.
What a game.
And they're not going to call a timeout. South Carolina's going to go. Gwynn, the quarterback, up the middle to Maxwell. Gain of 1 yard, down to 45 seconds. South Carolina's going to want their second timeout.
Tell me this game doesn't mean everything to these guys right now.
It does now.
Wow, they are giving it all they've got out there.
You just got to give it to them. I mean, they came in with a chip on their shoulder anyway. And, I mean, you know, like talking to Coach Hall from Bluffton, you know, there's 29 schools that you can pull from here, and y'all got 11.
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to South Carolina. I mean, they're making a huge statement for South Carolina high school football right now. And, I mean, Will Muschamp and, I mean, even Dabo Sweeney. I mean, all of the South Carolina coaches and the South Carolina colleges, schools, they need to be looking at some of these kids. Some of these kids could help them.
You see Rodney Summers there, the head coach of South Carolina, drawing up the next play he's going to pull out of his back pockets.
I'm saying he's drawing up a handoff to Parnell. Right, well, I mean, I think it's Maxwell.
You know, honest to God, guys, I think the smartest thing you could do here is fake a handoff to Maxwell and look for Pouchet on play action.
Yeah, or even run some RPO, stick it in Maxwell's gut, pull it back out, and let Jordan Gwynn run it.
First and goal. Gwynn is going to run and throw. Knocked away. Off the hands of Ronald Fusilier. Great defense by the Richmond Hill Wildcat. Second down and goal.
Outstanding defensive play there. Looked like Gwynn might have a chance to run for it. I thought he was just going to tuck it and make a beeline for the pylon, but thought he had Pouchet.
I really, like you said, I thought he had that pylon. Look at the pylon, look at the pylon, look at the pylon. I bet it's going to Maxwell right now.
Third down and goal. Third down and goal from the 8. And it's 4 down territory. They're sending John Swinton from Bluffton back in to stand next to Gwynn. To Swinton. And Low Country ties the game. And the PAT would give them the lead with 33 seconds.
That was a great handoff right there. I mean, just good job up front from.
We are getting chippy at the Border Bowl. That was Swinton mocking Winston Wright's motorcycle celebration.
Yeah, he was. You think Low Country had a chip on their shoulder? You better believe it. They came in here, something to prove. They called John Swinton Peanut. One of the most entertaining kids I've ever gotten to know.
Jonathan Orr from Hilton Head for the lead. South Carolina leads for the first time with 33 seconds to go.
Wow.
Well, I can tell you one thing that's definitely going to happen here. They're going to air the ball out.
And for what it's worth, 2 timeouts left for Georgia.
And no kickoff.
And no kickoff. They get it from the 30.
On the one hand, you don't burn any time on a kickoff. On the other hand, you don't get a chance for Winston Wright to return a kickoff for a touchdown.
Yep. All right, so that's Jason Cameron, the offensive coordinator you're seeing there. What can he draw up to go 70 yards in 33 seconds?
I mean, the other thing is you get yourself into field goal range. There's no rush on the field goal. So you watch guys in pregame warm-ups drilling 50, 55-yarders. That's what they get a chance to do, basically, with no rush. So field goal range gets extended out a little bit further, and that comes into play as well.
Yeah, field goal could do it. You have Richmond Hill kicker Anthony Salazar on your roster for Team Georgia. That's a kicker factory down there that Matt Lizotte runs.
He actually led the nation in scoring this year.
As a kicker?
As a kicker,
I believe it. Is this a penalty? Let's see.
Perhaps a sideline warning or look like a substitution.
It is getting chippy today.
Yeah, I think they broke.
Illegal substitution on South Carolina. 1st and 5 for Georgia.
Better get a couple guys way back there.
Yeah, they hadn't got to the point of true prevent yet, but they're getting there.
Phoenix is going to run and get the first down. That'll stop the clock for a second as he is absolutely leveled, and they may also burn a timeout, and these kids are going after each other.
He got stuck right there. I mean, that was a great job. You know, we didn't really even talk about, I mean, it's a given that you've got to spy him right there. You've got to leave somebody back there that you can't drop in coverage or you can't send out to hit somebody. That was a good job right there.
Kaia Little from Buford High School put the lick on him there.
All right, Georgia has taken their second timeout. Each team has 1 timeout remaining. And Georgia has 58 yards to go in 23.5 seconds. If your team South Carolina, your directive is easy. You cannot let the ball get in the hands of Delvecchio Powell or Winston Wright.
Absolutely not. And like John said, you have to spy Phoenix because if he gets free, he could end it with 1 play too.
But you could even still, you can give up a little dink pass right here as long as you tackle it.
Got to wrap up. Can't go for the big hit.
Empty set for the quarterback, Eric Phoenix out of Windsor Forest. Steps up, goes to Delvecchio Powell, first down. Gain of 20 yards, gets out of bounds, stops the clock inside 15 seconds. Great play.
What made that play better is him getting out of bounds. But you can give that up.
You don't want to burn the timeout yet. 15-yard plays aren't going to get it done. You're going to have to go to the end zone, and you have time for 2, if you're lucky, 3 plays. Here comes an outside linebacker blitz. Phoenix has to run. He'll have to throw across his body. Down he goes. Georgia's going to have to burn their final timeout.
And guess who got him? Sheldrick Gibbs.
That was just really impressive by Sheldrick Gibbs. Came down the line of scrimmage, and, I mean, he was hunting for play.
Wait, South Carolina says that was a fumble.
I don't think they're getting any satisfaction on that, though.
I don't think so either. So Georgia's going to burn their final timeout. 5 seconds. This is going to be a throw for the end zone. And look at the speed for such a tall guy, 6'2", 200 pounds, to evade that as long as he did, especially as a lefty. He couldn't throw across his body. Very impressive.
But how about Sheldrick Gibbs, 6'5", 265, and he strafes out there and tracks him down. I mean, if I'm a SEC defensive coordinator, I want that guy as my rush outside linebacker.
So there's offensive coordinator Jason Cameron from Jenkins High School drawing up one final play. This is going to be, I believe, too far for most high school kickers, 52. But Richmond Hill has had kickers multiple years in a row that can hit 60-yard kicks. That's Anthony Salazar on the right side of your screen.
And it's with the wind, it looks like. It may be a little bit of a crosswind, but it's helping.
I think they're going to send out Anthony Salazar, the kicker from Richmond Hill.
I don't know. With 5.1 seconds, you still have time that you can.
You don't have any timeouts.
That's true. Then,
yeah, I don't think you can take a chance
Yeah, since
there.
they burned their timeout. You're right.
They're going to kick.
You go for an uncontested field goal versus a Hail Mary. What do you think is the more high percentage?
All right, here is the 5'9", 160-pound senior, Anthony Salazar out of Matt Lazat's Richmond Hill program. They have sent multiple kickers in recent years to the college level, including Joseph Petrino, who's now kicking at Maryland. Can Salazar write his own story? This from 52, it would win the second Blitz Border Bowl for Team Georgia.
They're going to ice him.
And Anthony Salazar will have to wait. Rodney Summers ices him as he gets ready for the kick of his life.
And this is everything you want this game to be. An exhibition, obviously, but a lot of pride on the line. And both teams doing everything, pulling out all the stops, trying to win it.
Yeah, this is a great way to start a good NFL football day and everything. I mean, to go to the rest of the games. I mean, this has been everything that this game should be. It could be.
Okay, I have an interesting question for you guys. I don't see a long snapper listed on this roster, so we should see who the long snapper is for Georgia and see if he's from Richmond Hill. If not, this could be difficult, and I want to see who the holder is too, because we know the holder is not going to be from Richmond Hill.
The only thing is it's not as important because
there's no rush.
There's no rush, so there's not a hurry to get the ball down. We've seen the kickers on PATs. They wait a couple extra beats before they approach the ball, make sure they get it down. So
okay. So it should be noted we saw that Salazar was only standing 5 yards back, not 7 yards back. So this is going to be a 50-yard kick to win the second Blitz Border Bowl. Anthony Salazar from Richmond Hill.
I'll make the call now. If anybody touches it, it's Gibbs.
That was either short or tipped. And Team South Carolina Low Country gets revenge. They win the second Blitz Border Bowl live on WSAV. And Rodney Summers brings the Low Country back from down a couple touchdowns to win.
What an incredible game. Low Country came in here feeling like they had something to prove. Nobody thought they could win this game, and they get it done today. And there's a bunch of guys over there who are really feeling some pride for the area.
35-34, our final score. Georgia jumped out to a 14-point lead to begin this game, and South Carolina roars back. We'll take a quick commercial break here on WSAV.com, followed by the trophy presentation and the naming of our MVP.
Wow.
Trey Pouchet, 3 touchdowns for South Carolina. 10. Okay, so the first Blitz Boulder Bowl last year live on WSAV was not exactly a thriller. It was 15-3, Team Coastal Empire on top of Team Low Country. The second one today from Memorial Stadium in Savannah. I have a hard time imagining we're going to see games much better than this down the line. We are already calling it an instant classic. 35-34, Team South Carolina gets their first win in this rivalry series on top of Team Georgia. So let's go down to our sideline reporter, Connor Delpreet, for the trophy presentation and today's MVP. What's up, buddy?
What is up, football fans? What a ridiculous ending to the 2019 Blitz Border Bowl. Low Country, South Carolina topping Georgia in the final moments of the game. John Swinton with the TD run. But without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to Bill with the Ronald McDonald House to do the trophy presentation.
Coach, great game to all you guys. The biggest winners today were all the kids we get to take care of, but we thank you all for coming out here. Best team won. Congratulations, boys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Trey Boucher is here.
All right, Coach. I came to your practice on Thursday, and you said it's going to be a tough task to beat Georgia. They're stacked with talent, ridiculous D1 players. You said it doesn't matter about athletes, it doesn't matter about labels, it matters about heart. How much heart did your team show today?
Hey, I think we showed a tremendous amount of heart, and for these guys to come back, and we said it all week long, we said we had to play with a chip on our shoulder. Like you said, that we don't have as many stars and athletes as maybe they had over there, and we just had to come out and prove that we could play low country football, and that's what we did today.
To send these kids out, their last high school game with a win. You have Jordan Barrow over here who can barely hang on to his left shoulder. He's saying adrenaline's the only thing that's keeping him in this game and not from doubling over in pain. To see the smile on these guys' faces, to see Trey next to you holding this MVP trophy, I mean, this has to mean a lot to you to send these kids out with that win.
It means a tremendous. It's not about me. It's not about it's about these players and this community and all that came out and the schools that are represented here. And these guys have worked so hard for their teams throughout the year to come out here and show their talent on this level against that talent over there and come out with a win is just unbelievable and amazing.
All right, I'm going to go over to Trey Pouchet now from Thomas Hayward. I pronounced that right? The MVP. How many touchdowns? You have 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving. How'd you take the top off the defense? I mean, what did you do that separates you from other wide receivers?
Play hard.
Man, a few words. I got you on the bench earlier, and you said the team's just got to finish. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. What does it feel now that the game is over? You knocked off a stacked Georgia team. A lot of people didn't think that you could come in here to Memorial Stadium in Savannah and knock off Georgia. How did you guys do it, and how does it feel?
Put trust in each other. That's it.
How do you feel about getting that MVP trophy, man? I mean, you played your heart out. You're a guy that's looking for some offers. You're looking for some looks from college coaches. I mean, that's got to feel great.
Yeah, it feel good. I ain't going to say nothing about the college coaches yet. Can't rep it yet.
Where's Swinton at? I need Swinton up here. Let me get Swinton. Where's Swinton? All right, man. There he is. Game-winning touchdown, John Swinton from Bluffton, man. What's going through your head right now? I mean, you had the biggest smile on your face watching those final seconds tick down. You see the field goal miss. What goes through your head?
Man, I'm excited, man. This whole team had a great week of practice, man. We just wanted to go out and show that we could beat any stars. Stars don't mean nothing by your name. It's just a word.
The running game really took over towards the end. I mean, in the beginning, it was Trey catching passes, and then Purnell broke one off. You broke one off at the very end. What can you say about this running game?
Man, we had a great offensive line. We already knew what we was going to do when we first came into the game. Pound the ball, and certainly it worked out for us.
You got to explain what country boy football means. I heard you guys yelling that afterwards. What's country boy football?
Country boy, man. We all country strong out here. That's what it's country strong, down and dirty, baby.
Your last high school game, you're walking off the field with a trophy. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, you know. It's good to see, like, I put in so much, you know what I'm saying, these 4 years, so, you know what I'm saying, just a great feeling.
All right, John Swinton, Team Low Country, your Border Bowl champions, baby. Let's go.
Break it down one more time for Loco. Let's go. Loco on 3, Loco on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Back to you, Greg.
Well, Team Low Country played like a bunch of loco kids today. Absolutely out of their minds. They were down 14-0 at the beginning of this game. They roared back to tie it at 14. John and Justin, they were down a couple of touchdowns at one point, even in the second half. No quit in that team, Justin.
Absolutely not. You know, John Swinton Peanut saying country strong. They were strong of not only physically, but of will today to not give up on this game, down 2 touchdowns late in the second half.
Now, as I address this question to you, John, and I know that I'm at risk of getting a PC answer here, but dig into your heart. Is there a chance that Georgia kind of overlooked this South Carolina team today?
Well, I think Georgia did, but I think the other thing is I think there's a lot of talking there. I think there was a ton of talking, but I think the biggest thing is that the South Carolina defense is just, I mean, there was never a quit in them. I mean, even after you come out that first play and Ruffin hits Bright on the big play there, I mean, there was just no quit. And they found a different gear to play in, and once they found that different gear to play in, I mean, Sheldrick Gibbs is he is a phenomenal athlete, and if he goes the junior college route, I'm going to tell you right now, we will see him in the SEC in 2 years.
Well, let's take a quick second to talk about all the kids who didn't actually win MVP, because there were plenty of options. Let's lay behind the curtain. We're on WSAV.com. We're not on live TV right now. We can be transparent. If Team Georgia had won, we were not only going to give the MVP trophy to one kid for Memorial, we were going to give the trophy to Memorial Day School. 3 players who scored all the touchdowns for Team Georgia: Winston Wright, Delvecchio Powell, and Julian Roberts.
Yeah, I mean, don't leave Roberts out on the scoop and score. And Wright, I mean, the whole West Virginia thing, if I'm Neil Brown, I've got somebody on him trying to make sure that he stays with me, because he's going to be somebody that's going to do some great things. And Powell, I mean, he can help somebody too. But, you know, there was a lot of great things in here. But Eric Phoenix did a great job as quarterback for the Coastal Empire.
So last year, Team Georgia wins 15-3, and in a completely opposite game, South Carolina comes out 35-34. Let's go ahead and, because we're on WSAV.com, we'll take our time. We assume you want to be here. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from today's game. And I got started really quickly with the first drive wide receiver pass from DeAndre Ruffin to Winston Wright.
That was awesome. I mean, the way to start the game, you start the game like that. And, I mean, at that point, I'm asking Justin, I'm like, how is South Carolina's defense just got torched? How can you just keep coming back and not letting it become a track meet? And they didn't.
Well, I do want to be transparent here as well. I walked into their practice on Wednesday to do a story for WSAV, and I saw them practicing a wide receiver pass. I was like, okay, that'll be for the fourth quarter if they're behind. They had that in the playbook. Jason Cameron from Jenkins had that planned for the first drive, obviously.
Yeah, one of the first plays of the game. They go deep, and Jordan Gwynn, man, a guy that didn't get that MVP, but certainly could have. He stepped up for the Low Country. Again, they didn't have the top quarterbacks in the area committed to this game, most of them underclassmen, but Gwynn looked like a guy who can play at the next level, maybe a low D2 or something like that.
His toughness, the mental toughness he had, and the leadership he had on, he made that whole thing go.
And C.J. Brown did a great job too, but there's your guy Gibbs, and Jerry Brown said he could play in the NFL today, and I'm not so sure he's not right. That guy is a physical specimen.
This game was loaded with highlights. We had, I believe, 3 interceptions, 1 or 2 fumbles. There was that interception from Jenkins, Amo, and Tinsley. Guys, we knew that the Georgia defense was stacked with power. I will say, though, all the guys on the Georgia defense, we expected to hear their names called all day. Kalen DeLoach and Jakeem Harris commits to Florida State and NC State. We barely saw them at all today.
No, we really didn't. I mean, out of that whole group like that, I think, and it was only early on, was Eric Hicks from Benedictine, the Tulane commit. He had some moments. Chris Hill from Statesboro, the Citadel commit. He was, he had some. But I think defensively, nothing really stood out to me for Team Georgia. And the thing that I think did Team Georgia that killed Team Georgia is no rush. They had no rushing attack whatsoever outside of Eric Phoenix running football.
And we can't forget, we talked about Winston Wright, 3 touchdowns for Team Georgia. Here's his high school teammate, Delvecchio Powell, had this touchdown. I got to believe he went for over 100 yards receiving today, too. He was all over the field.
Oh, he was, I mean, just the little pop passes and everything. And, I mean, he did a lot. He's going to, if he wants to play at the next level somewhere, he's going to help somebody.
Delvecchio, yeah, he's got offers to Wofford, Presbyterian, and Jacksonville University.
Yeah, he had 8 catches for 128 yards, and not as explosive as Winston Wright, but a really nice player. A lot quicker than that body might make you think. He can get down the field in a hurry. Trey Pouchet is another guy. Here he goes again, going deep. Trey Pouchet with 3 touchdown catches, our MVP. He's a guy that we talked about it during the broadcast, but Thomas Hayward really did not throw the ball, and when they did, they didn't go downfield, so he didn't get a chance to show what he can do as a wide receiver. But
he sure did today, though. My God.
He sends this out to the coaches, and there's going to be some people on him who weren't before.
Yeah, he just built his own tape today.
I was going to say, I think we're going to get an email from his parents on Monday asking for the highlights of this game. But you cannot count out Eric Phoenix, then to Winston Wright, his 3rd touchdown. Second half got underway with Team Georgia coming right back out of the gates, John.
I mean, they do what works, because the running game didn't work, so we're going to have to throw the football and everything. And even on the defining play there where they threw the ball and they got the interception at the end, I told you they were going to go back up top. They weren't going to run it. They weren't going to run it out.
And then Pernell Maxwell put the game back within 6. And that's when you thought, Justin, you and I looked at each other and said, okay, Low Country's got a shot.
Yeah, and Maxwell is the guy we thought would carry the load. He's a guy who rushed for 150, 200 yards every game, it seems like, for Wade Hampton. Only touched it 10 times today, 75 yards, but that touchdown was huge.
And this play was brutal. After giving up that touchdown to Pernell Maxwell, they threw an interception. And this run back put him around their own 40-yard line and gave South Carolina the shot.
Kaishan Hipp with 2 picks today, and then he also was the guy who caught the failed field goal attempt at the end of the game. So fitting in for him, one of the defensive players of the game.
Pernell Maxwell took this ball down inside the 10-yard line, and you thought, okay, 30 seconds left. What are they going to do? And instead of going to the big boy, they thought a little speed might benefit them. And the Bluffton Bobcat, John Swinton, with 33 seconds left, gets into the end zone. The go-ahead touchdown. But that was not the end of the game. This is the PAT to give them the lead. We were worried this wouldn't go through for South Carolina. We did see one missed kick. And think about this. If Georgia hadn't missed their kick, we would have gone to overtime today.
Would we have had overtime, or would we have had...
I think we would have had overtime in this game.
Yeah, I think we would have had overtime, too, because, I mean, the way this thing shaped out and everything and got to the end, nobody was leaving here tied. We were going to have a winner.
And then Eric Phoenix from Windsor Forest, trying to save his team, goes down, setting up a final field goal attempt from Richmond Hill's Anthony Salazar, the best kicker in the Georgia Coastal Empire. And it was either tipped or missed or something, because it was 15 yards short. And the South Carolina Low Country, their first Border Bowl win. And again, because we're on WSCV.com, we aren't on TV. Let's be transparent. We had the over-under at this game at 41.
Yes,
we vastly underestimated these offenses. It hit the over. South Carolina wins outright. Not a lot of us were expecting that. So, for John Wood, Justin Jarrett, and the rest of our WACV Blitz crew, I'm Sports Director Greg Talbot saying so long from Memorial Stadium. We'll see you next year, a year from now, for the 3rd annual Blitz Border Bowl. Good night.